due to the graphic sexual nature of this podcast, including imagery of surgery, mutilation, violence, and overall disgusting, gross filth.
Viewer and listener discretion advised.
Rotisserie chicken accidentally fell down the stairs in the garage one time, like 15 years ago, and I didn't notice till there was a smell going on.
Yeah.
But there was probably 500 to 2,500 maggots on a rotisserie chicken one time that I had to come across.
There's no way there was 2,500.
Like, I'm not going to mention...
First of all,
I'm not going to mention her name, but
this
there was
is
a certain
always...
person that was with me in high school when we both had to deal with this, and we both had our Converse on. We were pouring bleach on
it's a nightmare.
I'm rotisserie chicken covered in maggots, and trust me, they were there for a while, and the rotisserie chicken was not picked clean, and those maggots were on there for at least a few days.
Yeah, I hear you.
So I'm just saying for them.
There wasn't 2,500. Obviously, that's way too many more than you think. And
I
all your
wish
shit
we
always
could
comes
ask
down to
her, but
angle
we were
evidence.
taking
You go, I don't
shovels,
know.
dude.
I don't know. One time I
Shovels.
was in a car and this one thing happened.
Dude,
I'm talking about
shovels full
actual
of maggots.
example.
I have done this. We had a fire out back. We had a gravel shovel that I filled with maggots and dumped onto a fire. I'm dead serious. Okay? It was definitely the grossest thing either of us have ever gone through. Welcome to the Dylan and Joe Basement Podcast. We're your host, Dylan.
And Joe.
For the past couple hundred years, if not more, there's been a phenomenon that's been going on across the world, but mostly today we're going to be specifically talking about what's been happening in the United States regarding a topic that is less explored than you would think, but more common than you would think as well. Joe, what's going on today?
We're talking about strange and unexplained happened in the U.S.
Could be anything.
Could be anything, really. But due to our podcast, I'd say it's something supernatural.
Yeah. Or not.
Or completely natural.
Or completely natural. But most likely completely unexplained.
Unexplained. That's the tag between.
So today's episode, we are talking about cattle mutilation.
That's right, folks. You've all asked for it. You've been clamoring for it. Your kids won't stop begging you for it. We're finally doing it. Cattle mutilation today in the Dylan and Joe Basement Podcast. We're getting back to our strangeness too, because it's our roots as always. We got a little bit into last week, some history, some fantasy, some all around cool shit. But this week we're looking into the fields, the killing fields, to see what was left behind and why.
And why? Is it UFOs? Is it cults? Is it all the other topics we have, or is it Midwestern mass hysteria? That's what.
Or a combination of all.
Or all those. We're gonna find out for you guys. So, as mentioned, this has been going on for almost all of history, but it's been documented for the first time in the 1600s. Where
ever since there's been cattle, they've been mutilated.
Since cattle were invented in the 1600s.
Yeah. Ever since then.
Yep.
The first cattle probably wasn't mutilated, but for the first 1,000, one of them definitely got mutilated.
Definitely was, and it was probably underreported. It was in the news. Someone comes out and...
Much like a lot of violent crime, it's underreported because the victims refuse to come forward. All those dismembered cows, they're too scared to call the police. It's a stigma in our society, and we're here to get rid of that stigma and say, if you yourself or someone you know and love is mutilated, don't be afraid to call 911, or there's also a mutilation prevention hotline.
Or email us.
Or email us, the Dylan Joe Basement
I
Podcast.
think it's just dylanjoebasement@gmail.
All right, Dylan Joe
Yeah,
Basement at
dylanjoebasement@gmail
gmail.com.
if you have any stories.
And we'll also put the hotline here in case you need immediate help. If you are mutilated or you want someone you know and loves mutilated.
Yeah, or if you know of an animal that's had its asshole cut off very cleanly, let us know.
Or if you can tell in the future something's going to get cut off, then prepare and call ahead.
Like a penis.
Like penis or eyeball, eyelid, ear. We said it was going to be graphic today, folks, and it's going to be very graphic.
Yeah, but it's also sad, and these are also we're generally telling you true stories. So this isn't like a theory or I saw what I saw. There is tens of thousands of pieces of documented evidence of mostly cows, but pretty much all farm animals where farmers have woke up to a site of unexplained horror. And,
unexplained horror is a good way to put it. Just complete depravity. Yeah, we're going to call it cattle mutilation just as a catch-all term because that's what it mostly is. But yeah, it doesn't have to be cattle. Horses, sheep, goats, whatever. You name it. Deer.
You name it. It's for those of you that are confused by cattle mutilation, it's also called bovine excision. And also, you're probably not going to be able to understand why it's called this, but it's also called unexplained livestock death.
That one you should be able to get. Yeah. That's pretty descriptive.
And the definition is the killing and mutilation of cattle under unusual, usually bloodless, and anomalous circumstances. And that's a big part of it. So all three features of that sentence really describe what happens here. So in almost every case of cattle mutilation, there's a couple of key factors. And we'll start with those before we get into the history about like Snippy, the lady horse. And
we'll do our classic breakdown of what do we mean when we talk about cattle mutilation. That way when we start telling you the tales of woe that these poor moo-moos had to go through, you'll know exactly what we're talking about in excruciating detail. So
the excruciating detail starts here.
Oh, please.
Imagine we're farmers today.
Done.
But we're cattle farmers. We're not just growing crops and this type of stuff. So we've got
growing craps.
We've got
marijuana. No thanks.
Yeah, no marijuana today. Just cows. So we're raising cows. Each cow costs a couple grand. This is your livelihood. You see them as an investment.
So they call them livestock. You know what I mean?
Didn't ever put the two and two together.
No, it's because they're living animals.
Oh, I thought it was like livestock, like stocks.
No, it's like we have stock and there's a stock in the store in the back instead of crates.
Oh, STAULK or STOCK?
STOCK.
Oh, okay.
Like stock the shelves.
Stock the shelves.
We have our
Livestock.
dead stock and our livestock and our inanimate object stock. So that's why it's actually called that, not because it's your livelihood. But it is still your livelihood. I mean, if you're a cattle farmer, that's the goods. It's like if you lose one of these cattle, picture if you're a car dealer and one of them goes up in flames in the parking lot. I mean, that's no good for business. And it's horrifying.
Yeah, it's horrifying. So
that's your baby going up in flames. But this one doesn't
your
involve
baby,
flames.
It's your investment. Usually, absolutely, nothing I've read about.
And
flames.
for some farmers, it's their girlfriend, but we won't get into that quite yet.
Especially if you're in the Middle East. But I didn't read anything about Middle Eastern cattle mutilations.
No, but I think that's pretty much a worldwide phenomenon. Yeah. As much as cattle mutilations, cattle procreation is probably part
exactly. of it. Yeah, when there's less
cattle masturbations.
Yeah, whatever you want to call it. But lonely.
I call it a lonely bad time.
Lonely bad time. Middle Eastern people.
Ill-advisable. Don't do it.
Have a bad time. Yeah, not good. And that's where SARS-CoV-2 came from, probably. So.
Yep, definitely. It all started there.
AIDS, whatever.
Mad cow disease.
That type of stuff. Kind of, sort of. Maybe no one really explained why that came about, but someone definitely fucked a monkey in Africa.
Oh yeah, we're not sure exactly what happened, but all we know is it's wrong and God's mad at us and it's your fault.
Yeah, it's not good. Don't be doing that, people. So,
stop it.
Yeah, and if you're struggling with that, just send us an email. We'll walk you through it, and we'll definitely read your story.
And also, there's plenty of people out there who are a little bit on the heftier side who will do anything in the bedroom with you, and they'd be more than happy to moo or shoot milk out of themselves or whatever you want, whatever gets you off.
Whatever's going on
consensually with another adult. You can do that.
In the cattle world, in the farming world, we say there's a lot of fish in the sea.
Mm-hmm. We do say that.
Yeah, it's almost unbearable.
Whoa,
how many fish?
Whoa! Wow. Let's move on. Right. So what are we seeing in these mutilations here? You mentioned one thing earlier, and just so we'd say, each individual case is a little bit different. They're not all identical, but this is in general what they're going to be.
This is what's going on.
Yeah, so for the most part, this is what we're talking about. One of those things you tagged on is lack of blood for the corpse or the body that's left behind there.
Yeah, how about we start? Let's do this. Let's start off what you see first, and we'll move our way down the animal.
All right, let's move
front to
along.
back. Yeah.
From hindquarters to head, from the
nose to stout to tail.
Sure, snout to tail.
Snout to tail. We're gonna do that. So
from the rump to the bumps on the top of their head.
Yep, exactly. So we're going to use, again, like we said, this could be worldwide. It's sheep, horses, goats, pigs, rabbits, house pets, bison, deer, elk. They've all been reported with this type of situation. So you come across your, let's just say cow, for example, or bull.
Sure.
And you see bloodless excisions, often an ear, eyeball, jaw, tongue almost always, lymph nodes, genitals, and asshole. All cut clean from the animal with no blood. That's the first thing you see, animal that's missing eyes and missing a tongue. And the tongue isn't bit off, ripped off, sucked off, whatever.
No.
There's a clean incision with what seems to be the perfect blade that has ever existed.
I don't know if ever existed is a fair description of it.
Have you found examples where this isn't like a really clean cut?
It's pretty early for me to push it back on you, but you lose a little hyperbole. The perfect blade that ever existed. I mean, come on. I mean, obviously human surgeries are as precise as this, you'd say, right?
I think
you think it's more precise.
This is more precise than surgery.
Than robot surgeries that people do on, the inside of your blood vessels.
Yeah, we're not going to get into this yet, but there is one case where there was a, so I said by autopsy, and this one's called a catalepsy. You
said it was a necropsy, right?
Necropsy, which is an autopsy for animals, and they did a down to the cellular level. They saw that some of these incisions they actually went like through in between the cells, like they didn't cut the cells, so that we don't have that technology into that.
We will get into that when we get to the part where I prove you wrong.
Okay,
anyways,
that's cool.
Everyone knows the farmer, when he sees a dead animal, the first thing he does is check if it has an asshole or not. And if it doesn't, we're in where we are today, which is surgical precision, the removal of these parts, which would not normally happen if, in a normal circumstance of a death, it's at that precision.
Yeah.
That's
exactly.
not usually how it happens when animals die.
It's not. If they die of anything else, it's usually just not this same formula that comes across of tens of thousands, if not, we're at the hundreds of levels now, across the world. But again, we're just going to focus on the Midwest just to keep things simple.
Yeah.
So
I don't know, American cattle mutilation. Good old-fashioned, down-home, red-blooded American cattle mutilation. Just how Mama used to make it.
That's right.
So is that about solve it? So there's no usually pieces, or it's just usually missing those different parts of it, or it becomes
usually
different
missing
forms,
those parts. There's been some cases where there's been it's just bones, like someone 24 hours later just sees it's just a completely intact animal skeleton. But it's more commonly all the flesh is torn away, like not a drop of blood or flesh or blood around the animal or whatever it is. But most of the time it's just missing some eyeballs, missing a tongue, missing an asshole, missing a penis.
Yeah, lips and assholes, check.
Lips and assholes, check. So,
nice. So that's what we're talking about today.
Yeah, if you haven't got that clear. So, Joe,
get into your skill.
So, Joe, do you have before I get into Snippy, sorry, I think her name was Lady. They call it the Snippy mutilation, but her name was Lady.
Is it because it was snip, like a surgery? Go under the knife?
I'm kind of not really sure. They call it the Snippy mutilation, but that was the first, like, really good one, but the earliest...
That was a horror show, wasn't it?
It was, but the earliest documented outbreak of unexplained livestock deaths occurred in 1606 in London.
We're back in London again, folks.
We are. No
place like it.
Yeah, and it's the same story of where there's a whole bunch of them in this case, and they were sheep, and they were missing a lot of internal organs.
The sheep shaggers up there that way.
Yeah, mate, as
in Wales.
People shagging sheep.
Did I tell you this one before? This is a quick good.
I just went down to Australia. What'd you say?
This is a good aside for sheep shaggers. No, go ahead with the Australia story first if you want.
No, I said I went Australian on you when I was trying to go British.
Oh,
It's-
God.
it could be
Oh,
hard.
I got you there.
Yeah, I might say,
Going
"Oh,
that
sheep
out.
out's the Bobby." It can be pretty hard for me to, can be pretty hard for me to separate my Australian accent from my British one.
They used to be all British. They're all prisoners from there anyways. They're definitely not the Aboriginals talking like that. So anyways, so one of the stereotypes about Wales, which is western of Great Britain there, is that Welsh people...
We're talking about sheep today, not whales.
We are. And this dragon on their flag, we're not talking about that either.
Yeah, we're not
Is that
mutilations,
it's a
but
still
whatever.
stereotype that people from Wales are fuck sheep. It's like, oh, you're from Wales? Like, oh, what do you fuck sheep?
Sheep fucker.
Sheep fuckers.
Yeah.
Yeah, they even call them sheep fuckers even today. I don't call them that unless I'm
Wait,
joking.
people from Wales are just known as sheep fuckers?
Yeah, you're a
or
sheep fucker. You're from
You're
Wales.
not a Brit or whatever.
Yeah, no, because
Oh, you're a
people
sheep
people from
fucker.
England are like, well, we're English and you're a sheep fucker because you're from
Okay,
Wales.
got it.
Even though they're both part of the UK.
Makes sense. Kind of a low blow, but it's fine.
It's definitely a low blow because they can't all be fucking sheep, can they? It'd be noticeable.
Yeah.
So where that comes from, as far as I know, is that...
Sheep fuckers or whales?
Sheep fuckers. Let's get that straight. Fucking use EWES. Is that back in hundreds of years ago, because of livestock was people's livelihoods, rustling animals and other ways stealing them and taking them for your own. It's like stealing a car, like we said before. So they made it so that if you steal someone's sheep, that's punishable by death if you're caught. So if you're caught stealing people's sheep, you're going to be put to the stocks. They're going to cut your fucking head off. They're going to kill you, whatever. You're dead. Mm-hmm. But the punishment for fucking a sheep was much less than that. You just do time in prison. So, a lot of the times when all these people were out rustling, out stealing people's sheep, they'd get caught. And in the middle of getting caught, they'd say, "Are you trying to steal our sheep?" And they go, "No, I'm trying to fuck your sheep." That way they don't have to get killed. They didn't catch them dick in the animal. They would just say, "I'm trying to fuck the sheep." Sure, it's embarrassing and you're going to be making your whole country called sheep fuckers the next 200 years. But it sure beats getting your head cut off for stealing the sheep. So a lot of the times when that was happening, it wasn't actually people fucking the sheep. It was actually them just trying to steal them and going for a lesser sentence.
Well, this might be a perfect case example of heroes live forever, but
But
legends
just never die. Exactly.
You can go to jail for stealing a sheep, or you could just say that you're a sheep fucker.
Yep,
and
but
for all of the rest of
people
human
don't forget.
history, that place is going to be called like sheep fuckers.
Yeah.
So, nice job, guys.
Of course. And on top of that,
yeah.
some of them were fucking sheep, so that could
That's
help.
actually probably certainly going on.
Say maybe if it's a 1 in 100 cases, the other 99 they're just trying to steal them, but every once in a while they were actually fucking sheep. So
Yeah.
it gets lonely out there in the pasture. So I thought that'd be a good aside as we go into our different livestock here.
Absolutely.
So it's London. There's sheep out there. They're hopefully not getting fucked and hopefully not getting stolen, and that's where we are today.
Yeah, and in the Midwest you can fuck a fish and then get a dick disease and die. So, but that's just Tennessee.
Oh yeah. Again, that's God
fine.
getting mad at humanity, and you have it coming.
When you
at
go to
that
the
point.
hospital and you're trying to understand what happened to your dick, it's because and then like, well, I was noodling and then
Yeah, you're noodling with your
noodling
noodle.
for catfish and I got an idea about the catfish. But that also happens too. People really do.
Oh boy, it reminds me of that canned deer from the Amazon. Instead of going inside it, it just swallows the whole thing up, and then you get a dick disease there. That's not good at all.
Yeah, no.
That's a hard one to explain, really. You'd rather say, yeah, I forgot to wear a condom when I was fucking a catfish in the mouth.
Yeah, with great power comes great responsibility. So be careful where you put your pee-pee.
And wear gloves if you're going to be handling fish. They get real slippery and they can cut you.
Yeah, and you get like fish bones up your dick. It's
Oh yeah, you don't want any
nothing
of that.
good about that. So
again, we advise against all this for the record, and we did have a viewer discretion at the end of the video.
yeah, we did. So if you didn't listen to us,
Sorry about that.
This is exactly how this podcast is going to go for the next hour. So just a heads up. So
it's our brand. We can't avoid it.
Yeah, we can't help it. So
what was going on in London?
What?
So what was going on in London?
Yeah, it doesn't really talk about too much besides
Mm-hmm.
there was a documented outbreak of unexplained livestock deaths in 1606 that shared very similar attributes or qualities or symptoms.
So those mutilations were happening frequently and so bunched together that it became a
Eyeballs,
public
penises,
outcry.
yeah.
I mean, if the stories like this, if we hear about it now, it must have been a huge deal because you can't imagine how many millions of news stories we've forgotten about over the years. But if it lasts, this far in the past, we still know about it. It was pretty big deal at the time. Enough that multiple
1600s where someone like took the time to like ink their pen and
yeah, I mean that had to be a big deal.
write about this stuff.
I mean, in the meantime, there's wars going on. There's witches to be murdered, and people are writing about sheep's getting mutilated. That's a big deal.
Yeah, no, it's a pretty big deal. And if it was just some dude, a bunch of people fucking sheep, they would probably
that's
wouldn't
par
write
for the
it
course.
down.
That's not news. That's just a Wednesday night.
Yeah, that's just how that goes. So pretty big deal. So that was really like that was the first really documented one. Again, I as unusually didn't go back to Egypt or to Antarctica or to
Strange enough that we don't have
those type of things.
I mean, if it already may have happened and they didn't document it, they didn't document everything for sure. But we don't have any direct information from that.
A lot of the reason is like everything before 1600, even actually before even 1800, was documented by like the church,
right?
Because they took over everything. So so there could have been these things they say, well, this isn't happening because it's against our religion. So a lot of things didn't show up in documented history because the church wrote it. So because they wrote most of history.
They wrote all the sheep fucking out of history so that we wouldn't think that they did that. But
yep, exactly.
We know it wasn't just whales.
Yeah, and all that sheep fucking probably burned down Library of Alexandria, unfortunately. So.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we would have known we could have solved this. This might even not have been a story. That didn't burn down.
The Library of Alexandria. One of the many books that was burned is why cattle mutilation occurs. And another piece of information we could have always had.
Never know.
We'll never know now.
Read ash. So then
lips and ash holes.
Shit keeps going on since the 1600s. A lot happened. Some big events. But
a couple of Puritans took a Mayflower across the sea.
Civil War, this, that.
Brings us all over to United States of America.
Spanish-American Wars, World War I, a lot of things, World War II, all these things happened, and then the snippy mutilation happened.
Andrew Garfield was elected. There's other things happened.
A bunch of dirtbags come,
Emancipation Proclamation.
That kind of goes into the Civil War. So
Louisiana Purchase.
The invention of some medicine and stuff.
Gold Rush. California became a state. And all that kind of stuff.
Heroin you could buy at the drugstore. The same with cocaine. So
the invention of the automobile.
Anything from the podcast that we talked about for that time period?
Where are we now?
We're in 2021 right now, and we're
where we are currently.
Oh, we're somewhere between 1600 and 1967.
Okay, gotcha. So I didn't know how much room we skipped.
You know how much we cover in that range of things. Harry
Cold
Houdini,
War.
Harry
Houdini.
Yeah. Cold War.
A bunch of shit like that.
Bunch of shit. So then 1967 on September 9th, which was only a few days ago.
Yeah. Milk, pasteurization. That was in between those times.
Yeah, but still not as common in 1967, but it was definitely invented. So Agnes King and her son Harry found the dead body of a 3-year-old horse named Lady.
Harry King is a strange name.
Harry King. Very weird name. Wonder if they thought that through.
Don't think they did.
If your first name is Harry and your last name is a noun,
yeah, you're fucked.
You're in for it.
I mean, King sure beats the Cox, which is the classic one.
Yep.
But even so, if your last name is King, be very careful about what adjective you name your child.
No, if your first name's Harry. Sorry, adjective.
Either way,
I got
though.
confused.
Yeah. If your name's Harry, don't have a last name as a noun either. Like
I didn't do that great in English.
Ball, don't be named Harry Balls. Don't be named
Harry, Cox. Obviously, you said
classic.
Harry
Radigan. He's the one who told me that one. I didn't even think of that one myself. There's that Harry Radigan. So it's like you're pointing
Harry's
out.
the one who said that? I
Yeah.
didn't know that.
Like look at scamper across the floor. That's that Harry Radigan, you know.
Oh, wow. Yeah, no.
I wouldn't even thought of that unless you told me.
Yeah, no.
But yeah, so you have to be careful with Harry.
Told me that. Harry...
Potter, don't even...
Potter, it seems like Pothead. Harry Pot.
Anyways,
all right, we're getting
We're getting the weeds.
All right, so Agnes and her son Harry found the dead body of their 3-year-old horse Lady, and her neck and head were skinned and defleshed, and the body displays cuts that, according to Harry and his mom Agnes, looked very precise.
Mm-hmm. And they were obviously experts because they found a horse, so they know a lot about surgery, I'm sure. Yeah, no, it sounds like they did. No blood at the scene. And the weird thing is there was a strong medicinal odor in the air. That's interesting. And there was usually you wouldn't really smell that on a farm. Usually it smells like shit or probably grass. Yeah, so you got a dead horse, smells like a dentist's office, and then that's strange. The I mean, I guess it's the smell of antiseptic, right? That they're talking about because Dentist office,
Or
you're not really smelling
just-
leather chairs. You don't
You're
smell
smelling-
the metal instruments either.
No, you don't. But you smell like latex. That's the smell that I'm kind of imagining for this.
Latex, yeah.
Because like drugs.
Do you think that it would smell like latex out there? I can hear what you're saying for that.
Well, I'm thinking like so you go.
I was
like,
thinking
you
it
go-
smelled
if
like
you go-
Lysol, like cleaning equipment or something like that. Like the smell of like cleaning, like bleach.
Okay, so when I go to the doctor's office,
shit
whether
like
it's
that.
the dentist or the doctor's, and I don't really go to the dentist a lot because I'm really good at flossing. And I do it twice a day, and I brush my teeth twice a day.
There you
So
go.
I just don't go to the dentist because I get compliments every time I go.
Lovely.
When I go to the doctor's office, though, it smells like hand sanitizer
Mm-hmm.
and gloves.
Yep.
That's pretty much what you're smelling. I think most of the time, and they have their cleaning stuff as well. But
Hand sanitizer is what I'm talking about also, though. Antiseptic.
Yeah, exactly. Is hand sanitizer antiseptic?
Definitely. Yeah, antiseptic means it kills bacteria. Septic, sepsis.
Yeah. Okay,
Antiseptic.
I was thinking that too. Yeah. So.
But I didn't think of the latex thing, though. That's a good call.
Yeah, they don't use that as much, but even nitrile gloves or vinyl gloves, they all have a little bit of a scent. So it's
Oh,
like you
yeah,
kind of
that
are getting-
smell is
you're
definitely part of the
getting, like,
doctor's
that thing, and then the
office-y
doctor's
smell.
office, again, their soaps that they wash their hands with, they all have this like very unique smell.
Yeah,
So,
it doesn't have that like because they don't flavor the scents like you have like this nice soaps and like Febreze at your house. When they use it for like applications for like safety, it's never like, oh, it smells like roses. It's like no, it smells like the chemical
smells
of
like
soap.
smells like
Whatever
the
that
doctor's
is.
office.
Yeah.
Whatever that means, it has a smell.
Whatever that means to you folks.
Yeah, whatever you're smelling there, that's what it smells like. So,
Gotcha.
So,
We're more like whatever Agnes and Harry were smelling. They're the ones describing it, not you and I. But
yeah, in 1967, I mean, probably sort of smelled the same.
I would think it's probably pretty similar.
Yeah, exactly. So, they were told that the death was due to a lightning strike, and
Didn't the sheriff not even go check? He just got a call by them and he told them a lightning strike.
Yeah,
he didn't
he
actually
said-
investigate it.
he didn't investigate it.
That's always a bad sign
There
for
was an
investigation.
investigation by the Wadsworth Ayer
No, it was
for the
afterwards,
Condon
right?
Committee after that.
Yeah.
But they, so Agnes and Harry phoned the sheriff. His name is Ben Phillips, and he told him the death was
Sheriff Phil.
He's the one who said that the death was probably a lightning strike and never even went there.
Yeah, see, that's always bad and unsatisfying for our podcast and for our investigation is if someone doesn't even take a look at the thing, we're not going to accept that answer. I don't care if he's right. I still won't accept the answer because you didn't even look. So how do I know? You know?
Yeah, exactly.
You can have all kinds of examples, and we'll get into what these could possibly be in different circumstances. But if I know one thing for sure in my mind, this horse did not die by a lightning strike. I'm almost certain. Doesn't seem like a lightning strike at all.
Yeah.
Defleshed, mutilated, smell of a doctor's office.
Yeah.
Lightning strike? I mean, I've seen a cow that was killed by a lightning strike out in Florida. Yeah.
Kidding me?
Yeah, we do like the every couple of years we'll take the fan boat out. We won't take it out. We'll go on a tour, and they take you around this whole area here. And you drive through different like little sections of Everglade kind of things. You see some alligators, classic stuff. But then take you out in a lake, and the lake is right across from a cow pasture. They have like hundreds of cows there. Another weird thing: the most cattle of any state in the United States, Florida.
Didn't know that.
Isn't that strange?
I would have said
more
Nebraska.
than I would have said Texas.
Actually, Texas.
But
Sorry,
yeah,
take it back,
Nebraska,
Texas.
I would have chose that over Florida too. I would have chosen multiple states. But yeah,
Yeah.
Florida has more cattle than any other state because all this grassland, it's all flat, so it's nice to have put a bunch of cows out there. And when we were out there, we saw
skeeters over there. I don't know about them. The cows getting diseases from the skeets.
all they have in Texas is steers and queers. I don't see any horns on you. What does that make you? From Full Metal Jacket. So we were going out there. We saw a bunch of cows walking around. And one of them was on its side with its legs out. It looked like it was stuffed.
That's why I got struck by lightning because it was putting its legs in.
Right, you gotta make yourself into a small,
Yeah, you need to make
small
yourself
target.
small and do that.
yeah. But it was out there with its legs out, and I don't know who asked it, but someone was like, "What happened to that one?" And the guy goes, "Oh, struck by lightning." That's what happens when you get struck by lightning. It gets killed, so it doesn't have any like wounds on it. The electricity goes through your body, shuts down your nervous system, your heart, and then the rigor mortis sets in. It has all its limbs go out, so it almost looks like a stuffed cow tipped on its side. So I don't know if the farmer saw it and was like, just let the gators eat it, but it was out there in the middle of a field, just fucking stuck out like this, got hit by lightning.
Wow.
All of its flesh was intact, and didn't smell like a doctor's office, but I wasn't close enough. But that's what a lightning strike looks like, and that's not what Lady looked like in this story.
Wow. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Didn't know you've ever seen that. That's pretty traumatic, actually.
Yeah, I was sad.
Yeah.
But it would have been more sad if I saw a gator attack one of the live cows. So I was kind of happy that it had a quick death.
Yep, that would definitely be more traumatizing and more memorable.
Yeah.
That's not a good thing to come across. So, yeah.
See?
Yeah, that's my first story about this. Then we get into just the
Do we have any? I don't remember this one. Is there anything with the investigation afterwards? Did they find anything, or they just said it's inconclusive? We went out.
Inclusive,
Gotcha.
no explanation. Besides, they said it was lightning and to brush it under the carpet.
Sweeping on the rug.
Yep.
All right, so yeah, we're gonna get into the rest of our stories here. We're gonna take our first commercial break. So yeah, that was our first tale that happened in America. That was the most notable one. But after that, started a string of cattle mutilations, and we're not talking about like 10 or 20. We're talking about thousands of them.
Just between 6 months alone in 1975, shortly, only a few years after Snippy. Well, Snippy, but whatever.
Lady was the horse.
Lady, Snippy, lady. Just in a few.
It's like naming your cow Guy. It's such a weird name for an animal.
So weird. Yeah. So, just within a couple months span, in Colorado alone, nearly 200 cases of cattle mutilation were reported.
Wow.
And after that, it became a nationally recognized issue. This made the news. This started crazy, and they all had the same, pretty much the same story. We're a bunch of ranchers. We started noticing dead cows.
Yeah.
And they're missing their eyeballs and their penises and their assholes, and
what's the problem?
And something's up with this, because
It's an
one
epidemic.
thing that we didn't really cover yet is that the experts besides veterinarians and stuff like this, farmers are really, really well versed and educated through experience and a lot of times through scripture as well about livestock. They know more than other people about.
Oh yeah, of course.
That's why so we have a lot of things to protect from predators.
I mean, to bring it back to a car analogy, mechanics know a shit ton about cars. That's your job. It's your livelihood. Of course, you know more than anyone else about it.
Yeah, exactly.
That's their merchandise, their livelihood. So they know a shit ton about it.
Yeah, and they know that if there are cattle, they lose cattle every year. It's a thing.
Sure, yeah. It's the cost of doing business being a farmer.
Cost of doing business, cattle die. It's unfortunate, it happens. But when something's unexplained and very, very odd like this, and it's happening in mass numbers, like I said, a couple hundred of them in just a couple months span, dying the exact same way in such a weird, clean way. Again, a lot of times no eyes, no tongue, no assholes.
It's not like they just got sick
no
and
penises,
they died or something.
The vaginas are cut out.
Yeah.
All these other things, and there's no blood. And one other thing too that we didn't even mention before is that near the bodies of these animals, there's no footprints, there's no sign of struggle, there's no markings, there's no anything, even sometimes not even their own.
Yeah.
Like not even their own footprints.
Right.
Like it's like this animal just showed up here dead with all these things cut out of it.
This adds to the strangeness of the whole ordeal.
Yeah, exactly. So
and probably to the anxiety of all the farmers saying, I can't even try to explain this away. I have no idea what the hell's going on.
No idea what the hell's going on. And they know, and my whole point is that they know that if a wolf came in or a tiger
or a griffin,
or whatever it is,
the dragon came down and cooked them,
bugs, birds, whatever,
noticeable.
they know how this looks like, but to be such a clean, precise removal of organs and eyeballs and stuff like this, they just haven't. They're out there, and some of these people have been doing this for 60, 70, 80 years at that point.
Yeah,
probably not 80 because they'd be very old, but maybe.
Even so, their great grandparents did it, their parents did it.
Yeah, they don't say this is something that just this is a thing and it's whatever it is. It's
and like
pretty
I said,
odd.
the sheer concentration of it too, within just the 6 month span or less, just in Colorado alone. It was happening in all different states as well, but this particular cluster was happening there. And much like the sheep mutilation in England, it became a big story, and people got up in arms about it. They wanted someone to deal with this shit.
What are you going to do when you start losing millions of dollars of livestock in just one state alone?
Right, and you can't explain
contact
why.
The news.
Yeah.
You go, hey, we got a thing you guys want to report on. We got to get to the bottom of this.
Like, you got to get some kind of voice and some pushing out there and be like, I gotta get some momentum to this and solve this problem. Or, God dang it, I'll have to do it myself.
God damn, figure out what's going on out here.
Yeah.
So, do you have any particular stories that, I mean, most of them follow the same approach that we've followed this whole time. One dead cow, this is what's going on.
No,
They're confused.
All the most famous ones are famous because of the fact that they have less and less explanation. I mean, there are hundreds of cases that have footprints around them, that have different markings, different ways they could have died, that are still clustered into that group. They're not all exactly identical, but there's so many that are, and then there's so many that are even more unexplained that it just adds to the sheer numbers of them. So most of the most famous cases are because they were able to throw away usual explanations of how these things happen. That's how it gets more and more, excitable, gets more famous details. I mean, we always bring this up, but much like UFO sightings, like you said, out of 1,000 of them, a lot of them are explainable. They're all UFO sightings, and people all freak out every time it happens. But a lot of them, the more you look into them, the more explanations can be had. But it's those rare ones where there's no explanations, and they're so in your face that it really sticks out to you. And it starts to become more of a prevalent idea in not only the farming community, but then in the nation. People start to hear about it.
Yeah.
Even if you're not a farmer, people are starting to hear about this. I mean, we know about it. I haven't farmed a goddamn day in my life. I milked one cow. That doesn't make me a farmer.
You have milked a cow?
Yeah, we talked about it in the milk podcast.
I've milked a fake cow at a farm.
The Davis farmland.
The trainer.
Yeah. The training wheel cow.
Yeah, the trainer cow. So one of the biggest hotspots of cattle mutilations that's been documented and studied by not only the government but private folks who did
private cow investigators,
philanthropists, millionaires, whatever it is. But before that, this place was originally owned. So let's see if you guys can guess. Anybody? See if you can guess, Joe. For most of its time, it was owned by Kenneth and Edith Myers. Not related to Michael Myers, I don't think, but that was
not Breyers, because that would be ice cream, which would be
ice
power
cream,
related.
but close. Yeah, no. Kenneth and Edith Myers from 1934 and 1994 in.
Or Oscar Myers? Oh, Oscar Mayer. No S.
Yep. Okay.
Because that would explain the missing lips and assholes, because that's how you make a hot dog.
That's true. That's a good point.
So
between 1934 and 1994, Kenny and Edie Myers owned this place. And
Edie's ice cream again.
And then just for 2 years, Tenny and Gwen Sherman owned it. And then it's from 96 to 2016, Robert Bigelow owned it.
Oh, I know what you're talking about now.
And then 2016 to present,
the most famous...
Brandon Fugel.
Probably the most famous hotspot for activity
for
like this. Particular cattle mutilation, but also a lot of other unexplained things.
Mostly cattle mutilations. Yeah.
And I had it, your third one in, but when you said Bigelow, it really sold it to me. Mm-hmm. You must be talking about Skinwalker Ranch.
I am. Yep. Skinwalker Ranch.
Yeah.
Fucking goddamn it. So, weird some animals.
So where it started?
Skinwalker
Ranch, because I think that cattle mutilation is one of the first reasons they started getting people around there, right?
Yeah.
It was when the investigation started that it really started to become more and more strange as it went along, right? Because the initial idea of them getting investigators there was probably more of a, like we were talking about before, the cattle mutilation. We got cows that are getting stripped to bits with surgical precision. We don't know why. I need answers here. And the more people that showed up and investigated and had no answers, they had to seek out more and more strange types of investigators because people had to be more and more willing to look deeper and deeper. Much like paranormal investigation, they have someone come by their house, maybe a home inspector, they don't know why their house is so weird, and then the more and more desperate they get, they have, a medium in, or like a ghost hunter kind of person. They get more and more desperate, they have more and more wackadoodle people come in with all their crazy shit and try to solve it in a more odd, maybe paranormal way. Yeah,
but there was also, before any of that, its former owners, which again, most of it was Kenny and Edie Myers, reported, things like crop circles and sightings of a lot of lights in the sky and weird helicopters and all these things. So that was something that was going on there for a while, was that these people were reporting a lot of weird stuff and obviously cattle mutilations. Right. So in accordance with the fucked up cattle shit, there was a lot of things in the sky, lights, weird sightings, strange orbs, whatever it is.
Right.
And then their cattle were just getting all messed up. And if you like, if we can tell you, but there's been a lot of structures in Skinwalker Ranch that are like segregation areas for different animals and different places, so they're trying to
goats stay with goats and cows stay with cows and don't mix.
Not even that, but they like put some in some areas to protect them from something else in like a really extreme way. And most of the doors have like a ton of like really super secure areas. It's a pretty screwed up place
because of the amount of strangeness going on.
It's a paranormal hotspot. It's the best way to put it.
Right. Yeah.
So they're scared. The previous owners were scared.
Mm-hmm.
The current owners are like an investor guy, but like
the current owners they own it because it's a hotspot,
exactly.
not because they want to raise animals.
Yeah, but there was Terry and Gwen Sherman who lived there for 2 years, and they didn't really know any of this until they moved there.
Yeah,
and they're the ones who put on most of the padlocks and the big doors and the this, that, and the other thing because they were. Shortly thereafter, they were starting to have a lot of sightings.
Trying to secure their farm from all the strangeness.
Yeah, exactly. So this is just a hotspot for cattle mutilations. The whole point is that this showed up there for sure. It is a good.
It isn't the reason they call it Skinwalker Ranch because that is a cryptid that comes from Native American culture. The idea of the what do you call it?
The Skinwalker.
Yeah, the Skinwalker, but it's like a shapeshifter. It's like a shapeshifting thing. It can turn into different animals and different things. Yeah. And it can, it's like a spirit of the forest that's like a vengeful, haunting spirit.
100%. Yeah, couldn't say it better myself.
Yeah, so it can, shift into any different type of thing. And the tribes that were told this as a legend were terrified of this, just as much as you'd be terrified of demons or whatever to try to haunt you. Mm-hmm. They were like, this is real. Yep. They exist. So they named the ranch after that because of that idea, or they actually thought there were skinwalkers on the ranch itself. It's one of the paranormal things that happened. Mm-hmm. Gotcha. Yep,
I think that it's named after that. This is what they believe.
Because
the area still has Native Americans in it, and they're like, this area is a big no-no for us. Like,
right, they don't want to go there. Yep. Because, obviously, you wouldn't name a Skinwalker Ranch because of a UFO sighting or a cattle mutilation, but that's, just another one of the strange things that occurs there.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Exactly. So it's crazy because just how much that Midwestern mass hysteria played into this. Mm-hmm. Robert Bigelow bought Skinwalker Ranch in the mid 2000s for $200,000, then sold it for $4.5 million over a couple years. That's a pretty good investment.
Oh yeah. You'd be hard pressed to do that to any other farm, but. You can sell some pretty cool stuff if people believe it's supernatural and unexplained, Yeah. It's like if they sold the Amityville house on it being haunted rather than it just being a normal house, you could probably...
I still think that house might be on the market again. Like, there's a weird thing with that house, but I don't want to live there, whether that's fucked up. So that's an example, and this is just one of the many. Mm-hmm. Where do we go next, Joe?
I don't know. You're done with Skinwalker Ranch? You want to talk about how they kept investigating it for years, and then they found all these kind of weird, strange things that they never truly proved or anything or had any explanation for. They just said it's strange, and now the more and more people who either buy it or investigate it are just looking for these same answers they've been looking for years, and they haven't been able to nail down anything. Yeah,
the TV show came in there, Hunt for Skinwalker Ranch or whatever it's called, Hunt for the Skinwalker. It was the show by Brandon Fugel, who's a Utah real estate tycoon, and he came in. They did a lot of investigations with the usual people on Ancient Aliens and UFO Hunters and all those. They all kind of circle around there. Right. And they did a bunch of things. And there was a lot of weird stuff that happened, but overall...
anyone who buys it now is buying it for that. They know they're going to make money off the idea that it's the creepy
and they're going to go try to study this. Like, there's been other places like this in history, like haunted houses that people sell. Yeah.
You buy it and then we're going to do a TV show about it. For a couple weeks
and then you go try to study the paranormal. Yeah. And that's pretty much what happened. But they had, they had more, cattle mutilations. They had sightings of things. They have, the previous owners had all these dogs that end up dying. A lot of crazy stuff that happened there. So, but again, at the end of the day, they didn't come to any conclusions. Besides, there's some weird stuff happening here we don't understand.
Still unexplained. And they there's so much kind of crazy equipment and all kinds of try to record all these things, and it's so hard.
Radiation detectors, EMF, electromagnetic field detectors, which they found a lot of weird anomalies, strange gases, cameras, a lot of caverns, infrared cameras, these type of things. But again, it's we are skeptical.
High strangeness.
We're skeptical of anything on those shows just because, it's still TV. Everything's fake. So
yeah. Well, I feel like it's like Ghost Hunters, and then it's like we're paying whatever $2 million to make a TV show. I don't care if we find a ghost or not. The TV show is getting made, so
we're
it's
gonna
something
make it look like something's happening.
Right? Yeah. So
and
whether or not there is ways to explain it, or if we can ever find out what's actually going on there, it's hard to nail that down with something like that, because obviously the kind of person who wants to invest money in that wants to get the money back.
Yep.
And you're not going to get a government grant to study Skinwalker Ranch, unfortunately. So you can't just have pure research. It always has to be some kind of incentive, because then you're not going to blow $1 million just to find out. But people like Bigelow kind of will do that, and that's the kind of people you want in the paranormal investigation world. Is a bunch of rich guys who aren't afraid to blow money to try to find these things out. Because without them, really no one's going to pay for this shit. Unless you have a TV show coming in, and even then... So.
Or if the government generally comes in, you're not going to know anything about it. They're not going to publish what they did.
Sure, yeah.
So...
Or if they do, a lot of it's redacted, or, they tailor it to how they want to say it.
Yeah, exactly.
That's true.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's another one of the cases where I would be creeped out to go there, but I wouldn't be afraid of getting abducted by aliens if I went there. But I would be freaked out.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. I'd be freaked out too. That's somewhere I feel like hanging out. So
yeah.
So that brings us back to we're back to the 70s where
Or so too many people were involved in this that they actually was a public outcry to the degree that they got an FBI investigation going here. So this isn't just
by a senator. So Senator Floyd Haskell contacted the FBI in 1975 due to public concern.
So this is beyond just an individual tycoon who's going to invest his own money in paranormal investigation, or a couple of farmers with cameras out there. They actually got the FBI involved and got a government grant to fund this research, and they're going to have to look into this and explain why this was happening, the number and the rate of these mutilations, and then the possible solution for it. Was, I guess, that was like their mission statement, where they had to do with this investigation. And they investigated just thousands of these different mutilations. And like we said before, it wasn't just in Colorado that they looked, but this was the majority of the ones.
Yeah, it started off with 130 mutilations in Colorado in 1975, which again doesn't sound like a lot, but think about, they found 130 cattle across a pretty big state, cows across a pretty big state that had almost identical mutilations to it, and then that moved on to 9 other states. And then in 1979, the FBI report indicated that so now we're in New Mexico, that who also investigated alongside the FBI, there have been an estimated 8,000 mutilations in Colorado in 1979. So we went from 130 to 8,000, which is $1 million in damage at that point. 8,000 cows equals $1 million.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's a lot of steers and a lot of cattle.
Yeah, it is.
Not good. And what did their investigation turn up? For the most part,
inconclusive for the most part.
It was inconclusive for the most part. For what I read, is that the majority, though, of the 8,000 mutilations, they were able to attribute to certain causes. Whether or not we buy into that completely, that's up to you. But a lot of them they could attribute them to different causes, which we'll get into in our next segment here, possible ways. But there was a certain percentage of them that they, try as they might, could not pin down to any explanation, try as they might. They couldn't figure out any reason why it could have happened in that particular way. But yeah, a lot of them, I mean, there's 8,000 different cases. A lot of them, it was literally just the cow was killed, and they were lumping it in. Because once 7,000 cases happen, if one of your cows died, that's another one on the list. You're not completely objective in that situation, saying like, well, let's check it. Is it the surgical precision? Is it the lack of blood? Is there no footprint? At this point, if your cow dies, it's just one of the cows getting mutilated no matter what. And so when you have federal investigators coming in and combing through all the evidence, they might just find your cow got murdered. It might not be so strange. But, that's not all the cases. So the FBI found most of the cases could be explained, and then a percentage of them could not be explained. And because they couldn't be explained, it was ultimately inconclusive. But I wouldn't say it was a waste of money, though, or a waste of time, because that's one of the most proactive and exhaustive investigations of cattle mutilation that I've ever heard of.
Yeah. On January 15th in 1980, the Bureau closed the investigation and they're putting
Case closed.
They put out a statement saying that none of the reported cases has involved what appear to be mutilations by other than common predators, and locals sharply disagreed. According to one guy, whose name is Sheriff George A. Yarnell of Elbert County,
Yeah, it is.
a rural county south of Denver, said,
Yeah.
"I've been around cattle all my life.
And my pappy did, and my grandpappy
And
did.
all his pappies did, and I can sure tell whether it's been done by a coyote or a sharp instrument." And that was in the New York Times in the fall of 1975. Local sheriff who is disagreeing with the Bureau.
I kind of disagree with you, government fuzz.
Fuzz and big wigs coming in here on my ranch. So
Well, you asked them to come in, so they either they covered it up or they found what they found. You never know.
yeah, so I think so. Again, there are tens of thousands, if not 100,000 of these cases. We're still in the 70s, but this is still when it's probably worth next step to talk about the black helicopters.
Let's get into it.
I think that's a first step into an
Possible,
unexplained, the next unexplained portion of this.
Sure.
So,
First of all, a helicopter. It's
tell us about the helicopters. What's a helicopter, Joe?
It's a vehicle. It's got a propeller on the top, as well as one on the tail there, and it can take off vertically. It can hover in place. It's basically like a plane that can do whatever the fuck it wants. Whatever the hell you want.
Whatever the hell you want. So,
Jizz.
so sightings would have been known as black helicopters, and phantom helicopters have been reported for
Or
decades.
helicopters of color.
Helicopters of color have been reported for decades. But there's no doubt, however, that the 1970s was the period when things really took off.
Oh, wow. Took off vertically.
In the latter part of 1973, a distinct and unusual events began to unfold, aka all of these...
Everything we just talked about.
everything we just talked about. And some people were going through to figure out what the deal is with this. Because they started to realize that they would see these helicopters in their property, and again, this is where things get a little airy, is that they said they made more of like a swishing sound instead of an actual like helicopter blades breaking sound barrier, cracking, crizzling, you know. Huh?
They need more of a swooshing sound?
A swishing sound than a Vietnam.
No, I know like what a helicopter sounds like, but it's strange that people would see a helicopter and be like, that doesn't sound like a real helicopter to me. It sounds like a strange helicopter. If it's a helicopter, it's a fucking helicopter.
No.
You can say you don't know what it was, but you didn't look at a helicopter and say, it doesn't sound right. That doesn't sound right to me.
No, it doesn't. But if you can visually see, if they go like, yeah, it was a cigar-shaped, thing, and sound like it's like, no, they're like, these are black helicopters with spinning rotors. It's like, okay,
So you would think it would sound
it's
like
a helicopter.
Right.
And again, to make a helicopter sound a little muffled, it's in the distance. It's usually how that works.
Mm-hmm.
Sound travels weird depending on the temperature, altitude, humidity, which way it's facing. If a helicopter's coming at you, it doesn't make a lot of sound, but when it's past you, it does. So
that's how a lot of attack helicopters are able to kind of sneak up on you, right? You won't hear them coming until they're right up over.
Oh yeah, fighter
and then
jet.
once they're there, you definitely would hear them.
Yeah, anyone's been to an air show. If a F-16 is heading straight at you at 600 miles an hour, you don't hear a thing until you might hear some of the higher pitch sounds, but that low sound doesn't travel the same way as high pitch sounds.
Yeah, same way where you can hear a jumbo jet in the sky, and you look up, and the sound looks like it's behind it because the way that sound travels slower than the speed of light, so you actually see the sound behind it. And that's because the sound is traveling out the back of those the engines there. So it makes sense that if it's headed straight at you, the sound's not going to come in front of it. The engines are in the back, it's headed towards you. I mean, it's loud as hell, so you'll hear it when it gets there, but you won't hear it until it shows up.
Yeah, no, it's pretty cool. So one farmer started noticing these helicopters and went through a whole big thing personally to try to figure out what's going on, including getting in touch with the police, who were also pretty baffled that every time these helicopters showed up the next day, they'd find a dead cow. And they seem to be related. Black helicopters, cattle mutilations was a thing. So back to New Mexico State Police. They're really the ones who really had a lot to do with this. A guy named Gabe Valdez. He was handling the investigations, black helicopters, this type of stuff. Contact the FAA, said...
There's a handful of Air Force bases around New Mexico and Arizona.
And,
like that.
Colorado,
Nevada,
so there's a lot of them there, yeah.
A lot of Air Force bases in
Fort
the
Worth,
the
Texas
Southwest.
is close to all that shit. Like, it's not that far. Yeah, tons of Air Force bases, but also a lot of, like, civilian places where a non-military aircraft could land to get fuel.
Mm-hmm.
They got to get fuel somewhere, So they contact the FAA. They don't find. They're like, yeah, there's no. And again, these helicopters have no tail numbers, which is the FAA is it's a law. If you fly a helicopter or an airplane, you have to have a tail number. You have to have identification.
Yeah.
This type of stuff. And they're not showing up on radar because they're flying too low, and there's no tail numbers. FAA has no idea of their presence. When they show up, cows die. So the state police got into a big thing and eventually found one of these helicopters like idling at the end of a runway, and they went up to it and then said, like, who are you guys? They got out of the helicopter. They were wearing military fatigues, but they were black. They weren't camo or anything.
Yeah.
No insignia, no nothing. Said this is, basically threatened them. Said, we know what you guys are doing. We don't know what you're doing, but you need to stop.
Yeah.
Mutilation stopped for a while. They don't know what it could have to do with anything, but this is the first theory.
I wonder how closely they matched up those two things, because we know from this podcast, as I always harp on, correlation, not always causation.
Sure.
You see a black helicopter, you see a dead cow, and you don't know why the cows are dying, and you don't know why the helicopters are there. Therefore, the helicopters killed the cows. It's easier to tie them together, not necessarily tied down, though.
It is, but they were... But
it's confirmation bias, as we say a lot of times.
It is, but it seems a little more than that, because you have something that's blatantly very, very... It's breaking federal law. You have helicopters that are black, flying at weird times, at night, no tail numbers, they're getting gashed real quick, these two guys get out, you're able to question them, they're giving you a little bit of information, you say, whatever's going on needs to stop. This is a big problem. So the first thing they're relating these mutilations to is that these helicopters were doing... right around the time that they started showing up and doing this type of stuff is when there was a treaty throughout the world that banned biological weapons and the use of them on the development of biological weapons and the use of them obviously on their people and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Saddam Hussein's a real big candidate for that fucking award. So,
right.
But it's the Cold War. We firmly believe as the United States of America that if we're not developing things that are going to kill people, it's someone else is, and we're going to lose that race. So,
yeah, it's America, much like any other powerful item or government. Do as I say, not as I do. No one's allowed to do this. Of course, we can, because we can be trusted with it, but no one else can be trusted with it, because we're not going to use it, but we still need to get it. Because what if they have it?
Yeah, exactly. So this is when there's something to do with the chemical, not the chemical, but the actual, is it a virus or is it a bacteria? I forget, but what causes botulism?
That's a bacteria.
Yeah, it's a bacteria. So I'm not sure if it's something where these are the bacteria that you get to create a biological weapon to make botulism in a weaponized form comes from cows. I think instead of having a farm for the government where they're just killing these cows or whatever, it was easy to just take one every now and then from a farmer.
Yeah.
And then...
I don't think it comes from cows, because I think that they don't discriminate what they infect.
No, but it's easiest to synthesize in some way, synthesize sounds synthetic, but synthesize a weaponized form of botulism from animals. And they knew that they were doing this legally first before there was a treaty put in place across the whole globe to not do this anymore.
Stop doing it.
We'll just take a cow every now and then, take the body parts off, pick it up by helicopter, bring it to the location, then just drop it back off at the farm missing parts. That's why it shows up with no footprints or nothing, because they kind of grab a cow and tow it away and then take the shit out of it.
Strangely enough, the way that you're developing biological weapons is a similar process to developing things like vaccines. You're taking individual, biological agents, which are these little bacteria and things like that, and you're actually helping them mutate, and you're picking out certain sections, and you're basically doing like your own little farming experiment and your own little natural selection to get them to breed in certain ways, and you're keeping certain traits, almost like you're farming them yourselves, like your own little bacteria farm, to get them to act more aggressively, less aggressively, kill faster, do all these weird things. Luckily, because of the speed at which bacteria procreate, you can get like 1,000 generations in a month, just keep having to do that. And I can see how, that would be useful for things like medical research, which they do allow that use for, but for creating biological weapons is illegal. So I can see that's, a way of doing that. We can do it with cows rather than humans. It's less traceable.
Exactly.
We can use it as a test subject and use it that way. I see what you're saying.
Yeah, and they did studies on these animals, and they had, I'll always forget the name of it because I keep saying catalepsy because that's from last episode about vampires. If you haven't seen it.
Necropsy.
Necropsy.
Because it's like autopsy and necropsy.
Yeah, for cows or animals or whatever it is. They realized that they could find traces of some sort of anticoagulant in there.
Trying to make the blood stop the blood from clotting. Anticoagulant means it
stop it from clotting. So if they kill the cow, they're able to kill it, and then the process of blood clotting would.
A blood thinner, anticoagulant.
It's a blood thinner, so they're able to drain the blood out really quickly.
Yeah.
Which my first thought, they didn't mention it, is that. So how much do cows weigh? How many gorillas?
I'll have to look it up again. We'll put it on the podcast.
Gorillas wear muscle, so
I think it was insane. It's like
1,000 pounds.
Yeah, it's like 1,200 pounds to like 2,000 or something like that, like a big steer,
big old cow. Yeah. So if you have
almost as much as like a small car.
Yeah, exactly. So how many gallons of blood is that?
I don't know. I know it ended up being 10 pints in the human body, which is a lot.
A lot.
But it was less than I thought, just because I figured there's so much blood. But for a cow, it's got to be gallons. They're huge.
So many gallons, and then blood is thicker.
And their heart is probably the size
water.
of our head, so
Yeah, blood is thicker than water. Water.
You better believe that, brother. I'll pound it for you.
Yeah, thank you. So, I mean, it could be easier to separate the blood from the cow weight-wise. I mean, if you're taking 100 pounds of blood, I mean, or more than 8 pounds a gallon is water. Blood, let's say it's 10.
Yeah, it would definitely weigh less with all that blood gone, but I think it would be inconsequential if you're lifting it up with a helicopter, though.
That's a good point.
At that point, it's better just to cut it in half.
There's something to it. So it looks like they're shot with some type of paralyzing drug, and then they're
you don't want them to freak out,
Yeah, well, if you're going to just grab a cow, it looks like they might have, these black helicopters, again, might have shot them with a paralyzing agent, anticoagulant, grab the cows, bring to a separate location, pull off the parts they need to synthesize some sort of biological weapon.
Which is the tongues, eyeballs, penis,
vagina, whatever it is.
You think it would be things like their livers or their brains?
Yeah, they're in there too. The liver, we didn't mention it, but it shows up every now and then if you read more about this.
Because some of them I read, it's like almost all their organs, like almost like a cavity opened up and they took all their organs, their guts. And and cows have 4 stomachs, so that's a lot of guts to get.
Yeah, it is. So this is all before, like I said, they approached these one black helicopter and said, "You guys gotta stop this stuff." And they didn't. So causation, correlation, we don't have the answer, but that is one.
Either way, the strangeness between these helicopters illegally flying around and the strangeness with these cattle.
Yeah. So that did stop for a little. It didn't stop permanently, but it stopped for a little bit. They said after this happened. Then they still kept happening. So that's one start to this, and that's actually one investigation to these helicopters, and that's kind of where that it's a wall.
And when you're flying a helicopter, you want to stay far away from walls as you can. Those rotors will snap off.
We don't like walls if you're in it that flies. So
yeah. Quick aside, I found out this week that the reason why a lot of American helicopters have the names they do is because one of the
like, what do you mean, like Apache and Comanche and Kiowa?
Yeah, one of the generals that around the time they started being developed for the U.S. military is that they said that the guy said, I don't know if he was the one in charge of this whole naming process, is that helicopters should be utilized as attack and leave, strike and leave, like you're in, you're out, much in the ways that Native Americans fought back in the time that they ruled this whole land. And that's why they were able to even fight back at all against, Europeans, is that they had this whole idea of like guerrilla warfare that Europeans would line up in a row, and Native Americans were like, fuck this, we're not doing that. Yeah. We'll fight in the real way.
Smart.
So I think that's a great naming process to name things like, Chinook, Black Hawk, Comanche, Apache, all these names are all different tribes.
Kiowa, Cobra. Cobra is different, but same concept, attack, leave.
Strike and leave.
Yeah. Any other names there? Those are the main ones. The Comanche is my favorite.
Sea Dragon.
Sea Dragon. Jayhawk.
Jayhawk could be a tribe. Mohawk's a tribe. Blackhawk's a tribe.
Jayhawk's the Coast Guard version. It's the HH-60.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
It's a Blackhawk,
so it's
but for Coast Guard.
Tribe, yeah.
The Navy's is called... Is it the Seahawk? It probably is, right?
I don't know. Yeah, it very well could be.
The Kiowa is like a bell... like the Aero Cobra. It's pretty sweet.
Yeah.
Then there's the Marine Corps flies the AH-1 Cobra.
I mean, there's so much
But
cooler.
they're all
The
the
Russian
same.
names are just dudes' last names who invented them, right? Fucking boring.
Yeah, the Hind. That's their most famous. Their H.
That's
their
a guy. That's a guy's
equivalent.
name, right? Hind. Yeah. How about a Comanche? Fucking.
Or classic American. Kill your enemy and then name everything you have after it.
Yeah, like those guys are really cool before we killed them.
Yeah, well, the Apaches were the most badass fucking killers of all time. We killed them all, so we're gonna with guns because they are actual real soldiers and. We just shot them all with muskets.
Yeah. So
we're gonna name a helicopter after them because they're fucking awesome. But we killed them all. Horrible. As a Native American descendant.
I'm not, but yeah, I definitely respect beyond that. But well, I'll take another quick break so we can go to the bathroom and make sure the thing's still recording.
Yeah. We're back. We just wrapped up Black Helicopters. Let's get on to more possible explanations for cows with eyeballs removed and surgically more than precise incisions down their lower
Your guts
half
are gone, boy. Throw them in the haggis. I think that's what haggis is, right? Sheep guts. Pretty sure.
That's news to me.
Yeah, I think it's a sheep guts all cooked up and boil them, mash them, put them in the stew.
Interesting. I'm not sure I want to eat guts. I'd eat organs, but not guts.
Organs being like the heart and the liver and stuff.
Oh yeah, you should eat those.
It's the good stuff.
Yeah,
it's
just
like
don't eat the bowels. That's where you draw the line.
That's where the shit goes.
Yeah, it's where any bad bacteria comes from.
Yeah, but
liver is always good news.
Yeah,
eat it.
Good stuff in there. Highly nutritious. So that's why a lot of times animals start there if they have an option. But strangely enough, which ties into our podcast today, we're so good at this by now. A lot of animals, especially the scavengers that have super strong immune systems and are used to eating carrion, will start with the asshole. They go asshole first. It has the thinnest tissue and it's the easiest to tear into.
Yeah, soft
start
tissue
getting
is good.
through there.
Yeah.
So a lot of times when they'll find dead animal carcasses, the asshole's already gone. Which does pertain to the story, even though it is funny.
It does, but the difference between those asshole eaters and the asshole removers, because they are different, is that
It's a visual podcast.
The asshole eaters tend to use their claws as well, so they do find a lot of scratch marks when they eat out that asshole. It's not clean.
You can't use claws. You gotta trim those nails off before you go those things.
Yeah, they don't just like cut it off and pull it out like a.
Right.
Like
but asshole eaters, I'm not just talking about wolverines. I'm talking about blowflies, maggots. All small bacteria.
Yeah. Okay.
A lot of different things that feed on the dead.
Do blowfish and
not blowfish, blowflies.
Blowflies and maggots eat out an asshole within 12 hours? I mean.
Yeah. If you have enough of
Get out
them.
of here.
One of them can't.
Yeah, but they don't just... You drop off a cow
if you
in
can
the desert, and then
take
within 12 hours, there's 12,000 maggots on its asshole.
It
doesn't happen that fast.
No. We'll get to the argument
Maggots,
part in a bit. I'm just setting it up. But if you could take a steak and pour a pile of maggots on it, they can pick it clean in an hour for sure.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't know about that because I have had one maggot experience because a rotisserie chicken accidentally fell down the stairs in the garage one time, like 15 years ago, and I didn't notice till there was a smell going on.
Yeah.
But there was probably 500 to 2,500 maggots on a rotisserie chicken one time that I had to come across.
There's no way there was 2,500.
Like, I'm not going to mention...
First of all,
I'm not going to mention her name, but there was a certain person that was with me when... in high school when we both had to deal with this, and
God.
we both had our Converse on. We were pouring bleach on a
it's a nightmare.
on
I'm
a
about to puke
rotisserie
right now
chicken
seeing
covered in
it.
maggots, and trust me, they were there for a while, and the rotisserie chicken was not picked clean, and those maggots were on there for at least a few days.
Yeah, I hear you.
So I'm just saying for them.
There wasn't 2,500. Obviously, that's way too many more than you think. And
I
all your
wish
shit
we
always
could
comes
ask
down to
her, but
angle
we were
11.
taking
You go, I don't
shovels,
know.
dude.
I don't know. One time I
Shovels.
was in a car and this one thing happened.
Dude,
I'm talking about
shovels full
actual
of maggots.
examples. All right.
I have done this. We had a fire out back. We had a gravel shovel that I filled with maggots and dumped onto a fire. I'm dead serious. Okay, it's
I'm
the
gonna
most. It
fucking
was definitely
barf.
the grossest thing either of us have ever gone through.
oh my god.
I'm serious about this.
Yeah, no,
dead
I'm
serious.
about to yak.
So I have, from experience, seen a lot of maggots on a rotisserie chicken, and they didn't eat it that quick.
yeah. Fucking gnarly.
Just saying. And they didn't eat out the asshole of the rotisserie chicken first.
Well, they come without the asshole. That's the part you put your hand up in when you do the rotisserie part. The asshole's gone already. How big do you think a chicken's asshole is? It's about the size of your thumbnail, I'd imagine. Their cloaca. How big's your asshole, by the way?
That's a good question.
It's not the size of a rotisserie chicken. Rotisserie chicken could be multiple pounds. And there's cartilage and bone.
I'd say think of like a bunny poop. You know, a little ball. That's a rotisserie chicken's asshole.
That's
or a
probably-
chicken's asshole.
That's probably pretty good. Which makes it even more impressive how large an egg is.
Well, eggs don't come out of assholes.
Yes, they do.
No, they don't.
It's a cloaca.
What?
Yes. Yeah,
Eggs
most
come out of
birds
assholes?
and certainly chickens have one sphincter. They piss out it, shit out of it, and they give birth out of it. It's called a cloaca. It opens up
So
the
the vagina's
same hole.
inside the asshole?
It's all comes out the same hole. Isn't that disgusting?
It's a very talented male to figure out what's what when you're in there.
Oh no, just all up in the same area there. They don't switch sides in there.
Oh, I figure once they get in, they know up or down, left or right. Wherever they need to go.
They're on there for like 0.5 seconds. I figure they just spray away and then the sperm
25
finds their way.
seconds is probably
But yeah,
it.
no, that I do
probably
know
a little-
for a
yeah.
fact that that's one of the weird things about chickens. They have a cloaca, so it's the same thing. For even the piss comes out their asshole. It's not called an asshole. It's called a cloaca. Everything comes out there. That's why you should wash your eggs before you eat them.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's
Wow.
the same hole.
I had no clue.
The more you know. So anyways, let's get back to
Never
cat
thought too
mutilation.
much about it. Like
We did say viewer
chickens-
discretion advised, right? For this,
Yeah,
this is
we
pretty
did,
gross
yeah,
one.
like chickens have. I didn't.
I hope you're not eating
I
to
just
listen to this
assumed that
pod.
they had an asshole, vagina, penis. Like
Yeah,
that.
like mammals do. Mammals have different holes.
They're
But,
fucking birds.
Yeah.
I didn't even realize that.
right.
I knew they were birds. So don't get me wrong. But
No,
like,
you got that. That part.
got that right. They lay eggs. So
Yeah.
this just naturally progresses to dinosaurs have cloacas.
I don't know that.
Dinosaurs are birds.
Yeah, well, they're also reptiles, and I think reptiles, a lot of them have.
T-Rexes are birds.
A lot of them have one whole two. Yeah, but this is part of the differentiation between species. We can't get into the arguing each is what's what right now.
Yeah, we're not talking about like dinosaurs getting their.
Yeah, no,
eyeballs.
we understand what the part in the evolutionary timeline where you're gonna name something a bird over a dinosaur.
Yeah, reptiles lay eggs too, but they're not
Yes.
birds. See, I'm getting confused.
But I think that also that a lot of reptiles probably have a hole too. Like, where does a snake have an asshole and a vagina and everything else that goes on? I mean, a urethra
No
separately.
idea.
I don't know. I don't even know.
I've never seen.
I've never seen a snake shit. What's a snake shit look like?
Don't know, but I know that you never.
I think it probably has one hole.
I know that to identify, it's like a lobster. Sometimes
so?
to identify a lobster, they're like, "Oh, you ever gone on a lobster boat tour?"
No, I haven't.
They
no.
pull up one like, "Oh, it's a female," because you see something,
There's something.
but it's not like, "Oh, it's got a penis."
Dude, if a lobster had a penis, you pick it up. Oh yeah, there's the balls.
It's a boy. It's a male. Yeah, exactly. It doesn't look like that.
That would be so. I mean,
this is all coming.
try to make
together
an
right
insect even grosser. If insects had external
God.
genitalia.
Ladybugs, just fucking age 64 Apache fucking front turret right there. You know, just-
Yeah, like oh my
Yeah.
god. Not only is a fly landing on me, it's horny.
Oh god.
Gross.
Dude, that would be fucked up. I was just thinking how fucked up mosquitoes were. Can you imagine if that was a part of this?
They already penetrate you without your consent.
I know, and it's the worst.
They give you STDs.
They really do. Fucking awful shit. So
Nasty, nasty.
So
So practicality.
so
like,
cows don't have penises?
no, they're mammals.
Oh, they're not birds. Or reptiles. Everything's getting all blurred right
Separate
now.
holes, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
No, cows definitely. We'll put it this way: when they're fucking the sheep, they're not fucking its asshole. They
Wait,
could.
Wait. Who's not?
The people who are fucking sheep,
aren't
the
fucking
Welsh.
its asshole?
That's a joke. I think they're fucking it in the vagina.
Okay, got it. All right, I'm getting confused. All right, so yes.
Not-
all right, back to that.
But if you fuck a chicken,
You're fucking its sphincter.
right?
Or whatever it's called. Cloaca.
Yeah, cloaca.
Cloaca.
Yeah. So we'll probably do a
Wow.
timestamp on that to save
Yeah.
some of our viewers from that.
No, it's okay. We want this is the meat
gnarly.
of the podcast.
It is, but
it's great.
it is a silly potty talk, but it also happens
Keep
to do
it
with
in.
the different parts
We
of
just
what
explained
changes.
different parts of birds and reptiles and
Yeah, yeah, and I'm not cutting it out. I'm just saying,
No, yeah. it's
unlike what's happening to these cattle, they're always getting cut out. So I was gonna say before we go on to other possible explanations that this phenomena hasn't just stopped in the 1970s or the mid 80s. As soon as April of this year, there was another event of cattle mutilation that happened in near Seattle, Washington.
Yeah.
You want to tell us a little bit about that?
I do.
It's that recent that
It's that recent. So in between then,
this hasn't stopped.
in between then, the black helicopters.
Oh, sure, go ahead.
And the mutilations have been pretty.
Oh no, I have one in Oregon. That is two different ones.
Did I say Seattle or Oregon? Because I got it right here. So I've got. It's Oregon. Sorry.
Okay, so
yeah,
I was-
it's Oregon.
I was right
So
about that.
I thought it was Seattle. So we got a pair of mysterious cattle mutilations that happened. They were reported in August by this local media place.
Yeah.
But
The udders appeared to be removed with
Yeah.
precision, straight, even cuts with a sharp object. I mean, we're like a broken record here, folks.
Yeah.
It's still
the
going
same
on.
Shit.
And-
It's still
and
going.
this-
So whether this is crazy shit
This
or
is
not,
this
it's
year,
still
2021.
happening. It's been 50 years,
Yeah.
if not possibly 4,000 years. This
Who
going on.
knows?
No one really knows, but the most recent one was August 14th. Actually, this is a month ago,
Wow.
and it was on a ranch in Oregon's Wheeler County. It was believed to be killed around 3 days earlier. It was a black Angus bull, aka a male, not a bird. Was missing its nose,
Yeah,
tongue,
bull mutilation.
penises. It says organs, so
Probably not penises, right?
penis and balls,
There you go.
ear, eye, and left cheek, as well as part of its tail.
Mhm. They left the tongue.
And they were clean cut, so they were unable to perform a necropsy on the animal, which was valued at a whopping $4,500.
That's how much it costs?
That cow does. Oh wait! The necropsy costs $4,500.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
That's so expensive, though. I wonder how much an autopsy costs. Probably like 30 grand.
Who knows, dude?
Maybe even more.
No idea.
That's probably why people don't, always automatically do them.
The state does them.
Because you should really do an autopsy.
I think the
like,
state will do it for
automatically.
free most of the time.
Yeah, but I mean, that's how much it costs. So we have to bill
Well, the bill of state, yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. So, ranch
expensive.
owner Tanner Brown, who was this was,
Tanner is funny because that's what you call people who work with leather.
Yeah,
So
they tan leather.
ironically, you cut a bill to pieces and skin it. You're a tanner.
Yep.
Thank you.
And thanks for the definition, Joe.
Thank you.
And he was one of 600 cows, and he said it's kind of a strange thing. It's word for word.
No shit. Most understatement of the podcast so far from Tanner over there.
Yeah, really nice quote.
Kind of a strange thing.
Kind of a
man.
strange thing. Maybe that's going to be the name of this podcast today. It's kind of a strange thing.
It's strange.
Yeah, that's one farm, and then late July, the county over, known Harney County, had another identical, genital cutout, snout, whatever, go on as well a month earlier. So
So even this year, it's still going down.
yeah, 5 cases in that county, 5 cases in that county, 3 cases in Crook County, which we didn't mention yet. That's the March one.
Yeah.
And everyone's baffled still. No tangible clues nor blood.
No blood. Again.
And it's fucked. That's all I know.
Totally.
No signs of coming to an end anytime soon as well.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, obviously, if
According to this.
it's happened last month, it ain't going to end anytime soon. So let's dive into possible explanations for this because
Yep.
even though
do it.
as always, we're not going to come to probably a solid, we have the answers for you folks, but we can dive in and try to see
Spoiler,
what we
we're
can
not
find.
going to have an answer to this.
No, but we can see what we're the most
There are some things.
likely explanations. And
We said one already. Government biological weapons testing.
Yeah.
Sort of like a botulism thing. That's
so actual government agents going in with the expertise to surgically dismantle a cow and use their organs in order to
develop drugs.
Yeah, develop and study.
So,
well, not drug. Well, probably
it's
maybe
the
drugs too.
botulism device thing is it's almost like a drug.
Gotcha. Yeah. But again, that
Botox.
That toxin is produced by bacteria, so it's like saying saliva is a drug when you produce it in your mouth. You use it as a drug, but you're actually collecting a poison. It's like a snake venom.
Yeah. Exactly.
But so you'd be cultivating these bacteria to use them in a certain idea. Basically, it's the Black Ops, the fucking Area 51 people
Weird
are coming
shit.
in.
Mm-hmm.
The men in black are coming in, slicing these cows up, leaving them in the field. Which it always figures to me, like, if you already kidnapped the cow, just bring it to the black site and torture it there. That's what we do with humans. Why not just take the cow the whole way there?
Well, and also,
if the cow is missing,
just bury it there? Like, why do you have to bring it back?
Well, I think that burying it might take more time. I'm not sure, but why not just take the whole thing with you?
To fly a fucking helicopter? I mean,
if you already have
honestly,
if you
have to turn on a helicopter, attach the dead cow to it, fly it back, drop it off. Like that costs gas.
How long do you think it takes to bury a cow?
With an excavator?
Where's the excavator gonna? They're gonna fly that in too?
No, I'm saying if they're picking up a cow and bringing it to an undisclosed location.
Oh yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Doing all the testing, just bury it there.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Why are they bringing?
Oh, you're thinking they're bringing it there already?
That's what these people think. They think that they're picking up these cows with helicopters.
What the fuck? Okay, I didn't realize that part. I thought you were
doing the testing they're taking out the stuff there.
I thought they were picking them up in the field. They're dismantling them and dropping them back in the field. I don't know.
What is this, a med flight for?
Why would you bring it?
Why would you have an air surgery? And
that's what I was thinking. Why would you bring it back?
That's what I'm saying. That doesn't make any sense. Like, why would they?
It makes
bring
no
it back?
sense.
That's
at
what
all.
they're saying. Like, they must be bringing it because they must be. That's what that explains the no blood, the no this, because they drain the blood at the location. They take the organs to the location.
There's no reason ever to bring it back then.
That's what I'm saying. Like, be like, if all of a sudden a farmer just goes, I have a cow missing, and I can't.
The easiest way to make them disappear is just to make them disappear. Why would you? You're leaving a ton of evidence, and not only that, you're making it look like it couldn't have been a predator attack because all the signals of a usual predator attack aren't there. So, I mean, if that was a government agency trying to keep something on the hush-hush, all they're doing is making a big spotlight on, look at this, investigate this.
Yeah.
So either it's a distraction or like a flare, or it's just, it doesn't make any sense to me.
I don't know, but like, why would they keep doing this in other states, other countries? We're not going to mention those yet because there's plenty of other...
That doesn't really hold water.
That's why it's so weird. The black helicopter thing is weird because it's like, why would they pick them up, bring them somewhere, then bring them back? If they brought them somewhere cool, they disappeared, that's fine. They bury them or eat them, whatever.
But if they disappear, we wouldn't have this whole story, and people wouldn't give a shit.
Bring them back.
Because cows probably go missing even more than, pretty white girls in the news.
Yes.
All the time, I mean to say.
Well, definitely though. So that's one theory.
So that's one theory.
Next theory, I got plenty. What do you got?
Oh, well, let's start in order of the articles we always read. Just to tap on what we were talking about before, the natural causes form of it. First of all, things strangely happen to bodies. It's the same thing we talk about on our podcast all the time. People think they know how the world is because they live it on day-to-day life, and then the actual experts will tell you differently. So you figure, what happens when people die? This, that, and the other thing. Things like, their hair and their nails keep growing after they're dead. No, they don't. Mm-hmm. An expert will tell you that's not what happens. Mm-hmm. It's unintuitive, but you can't intuit everything about science. If we could intuit everything about science, we would know how to do most things thousands of years ago. It takes years of research and understanding it. You can't intuit everything. Most of the things we can intuit, we did when we were cavemen. More than that, it takes a lot of research and time and things like mathematics, formulas, testing. So when it comes down to different things about like how predators attack, how things decompose, for example, bloat, blood draining, blood pooling, blood coagulating in the body, if you have a dead body decomposing over the course of a long period of time, which a lot of these cases happen overnight, so I'm not saying that's the particular case, but if you have a dead body in the woods, they go, where'd all the blood go? The blood didn't get stolen from it. It coagulates and it decomposes and actually breaks down into individual parts of the organism, much like the rest of your body does. You don't have to skin somebody and drain their blood for them to end up being a skeleton. These are natural parts of decomposition. One of the ways they think that these surgical cuts may have happened is that when your body starts to bloat and tear apart, like you said before, it tears at the cellular level because it's not actually something ripping and tearing and sawing apart. it's expanding until it breaks. You're almost bursting from within, which
and that
happens
looks
in
like
much
a
more
precise
uniform.
cut.
Well, I'm not so sure that
No, it
it's
sounds
just
like that's
that.
the case. Like if you blow up a balloon, then it blows up completely. It looks like it's been cut.
Yeah, it doesn't look jagged or sawed to part.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not saying that's the perfect explanation, but it's another possible explanation. And for a lot of these cases they researched, when they had these surgical cuts, they did find out that it was because of the bloat after death.
Very possible.
Many times,
except for assholes and eyeballs and penises.
Now that wouldn't happen. They wouldn't be just removed like that. They would decay, and the soft tissues on the outside of your body do decay faster.
It's not funny, but imagine the body bloats, and the first thing that goes, the cow's penis just goes.
It shoots off like a rocket.
Shoots off like a rocket.
Like a balloon.
Yeah.
Whistling around the room.
Yeah. We're not saying that's happening, but
we're not saying it happened.
We're not scientists either.
That's like not happening.
Good.
But yeah, well, obviously though, the same way that parasites and carrion eaters will have the soft tissue first. I mean, your eyeballs will decompose faster than anything else. They're the softest tissue. They have direct contact with the bloodstream. If you're dying, your eyeballs are going first. I'm not saying they're surgically removed, but they will decompose faster than your abdomen will, for example.
Sure.
And that's why everyone closes their eyes when they die, so that it takes longer. That's not true. I'm just fucking around. And people don't know they usually close their eyes when they die either. That's from movies.
Shrivel up and open.
Yep.
So that's decomposition theory.
Mm-hmm.
Totally.
Which kind of combines with the theory that also there is most times that cows and cattle and things like that die. It's not usually lightning strikes, and it's not usually unexplained death. A lot of time it is that predators get to them.
Yeah.
They get weaker. The weaker and sicker of the herd get killed, and sometimes it's a bloody mess, and it's pretty clear that wolves got to them or something like that, or coyotes. And sometimes it's not so clear.
Sometimes it could just be a raccoon.
Sometimes raccoons get in there. They go, oh man, did you know that raccoons can fit into a space the size of a mason jar?
So, aka cow asshole, not a problem.
Not a problem.
Yeah.
Right in there.
Not a problem.
But there would be examples of claw marks and things like that.
And the cow, yeah, that'd be bad.
So, again, just to reiterate, I'm thinking that most of these cases are natural causes or predators. It's just that there's a certain percentage of them that just can't be explained with that. There's just too many things missing, too many surgical deals. And, of course, on top of that, the lack of physical evidence of footprints, tracks. I'm not as worried about the blood going missing. I know that's such a strange thing to us, but I think that it's just not as simple as we think that it's an animal dies, there's a pool of blood all around like a murder scene. It doesn't always go that way in nature, the way decomposition works, but the fact that there's no footprints, no evidence of in or out, even the cow's footprints aren't there, that's very strange to me.
Yeah, very strange. And like the blood thing, you sort of mentioned it, but like one genuinely good theory is like, unless you move the cow and cut open other parts of it, the blood pooling thing is very, very real. Like the gravity brings the blood down to the back or to the side or to the whatever it is, and it goes in one spot.
If your heart's not pumping it around your body, your blood's a liquid.
It will eventually start going down to to one spot. So if you cut open from the top, you go, holy shit, there's no blood in this thing? What the fuck?
That'll happen.
Yeah.
That's why when they're hunting animals, they'll hang them and then they'll let the blood drain out because gravity brings it down.
Yep, seen it. Been to a slaughterhouse. They know how that goes.
Yeesh.
Pretty fucked up.
So that moves on to our fourth or third, depending on how you want to count it out, explanation, which things get a little bit more unexplained. Would you like to start with your explanation?
A little more fishy?
Fishy? Sure. Sure.
A little more... Yep, don't have any farm words at the moment.
Is there someone's trying to strange foxy, a little sly?
Foxy.
So there's a fox in the hen house, and there's an explanation to be had. Why don't you start out with what your strange explanation is? Because I know you want to talk about UFO abductions and all that kind of stuff.
We'll
so
get
let's
there.
get
I'm trying to see if I can avoid that as long as possible.
Let's go there right now.
Well, wait a minute. So, yep, that's a really good one. Back to natural causes for just a second. There's just, you didn't mention dehydration. That could be a part of it. There's like small scavengers, like you said, like parasites and this type of thing.
So we did mention that.
You mentioned all this stuff, blood pooling, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, I got past this part already. We got through it.
Okay, but you do have colts on there, right?
Let's bring up that one because I forgot about that one.
So I was trying to avoid.
I'm sorry. No, let's go past the paranormal and go to the extremely strange and no evidence and unsubstantiated.
Yeah,
Satanic Panic.
Aleister
Crowley haters.
Midwestern. What did I say?
Bible thumping.
Something, whatever the fuck. So
fear mongering.
Yeah, more Aleister Crowley level things though is that cults sacrifice animals. It's a big part of being in a real cult.
Mm-hmm.
Humans and animals. So what they do is they can use in their rituals or whatever it is, animal body parts, this type of stuff. They might just need a penis. Or they need a piece of an animal.
Believe you and me, sister. Sometimes we all need one,
So that's one as well. Like they come in and then the animal stays present and they're able to take what they need for whatever ritual they have.
Yeah. That is a possible explanation, but that has even less evidence than all the other ones we talked about. I'm more inclined to believe that a Black Hawk helicopter came in and took it than a cult is moving in and out like a demon's whisper and stealing organs.
Yeah.
Cults have plenty of ways to take animals and purchase them legally and do all the rituals. A lot of times they take them alive so they can kill them in front of people.
That's the whole
The
thing.
idea of them stealing them and with surgical precision and leaving them behind like that, it rings to me much more of people being afraid of Satanism and cults and the Bible Belt of America and in the backwoods in Colorado than actual explanations. And the FBI found very little evidence for that, actually zero.
And you hit on it pretty well, is that they've had cult experts come on here who are part of organizations like the FBI and police departments who understand cults. And typically
they investigate real cults.
Typically they want a live animal that they sacrifice in person in front of multiple people. So this doesn't. There is blood and guts and gore. We've all seen Apocalyptica, which is not a cult. That's actually the Mayans, or the Aztecs. I forget.
But similar idea.
How that shit goes down. You know, even down to the Bible where they
ritual
cut open a
sacrifice.
sheep and exactly.
No one wants to buy a hermetically sealed heart. That they already found off the cow and then they sealed it up. They want it to be the whole bloody, gory mess as part of the whole ritual.
Yeah, but the one thing that I think of,
there's much fewer cults than people in rural Colorado thought there was. Certainly
if
not enough to kill.
At this point, for
thousands
50 years of
cows.
documented things, that's too much.
Mm-hmm. There's many more people banging cows on the open plains than there are members of the cult that have ever existed in America.
Yeah, exactly. So it just seems a little bit too, I'll say fishy again, for a cult to come in and take things. But they'll draw a pentagram, put a body part in the middle of it, do a ritual around it, stuff like that. So I can't...
I'm not saying cults don't kill animals. I'm saying that it's
yeah.
highly unlikely that the phenomenon we're talking about today has anything to do with cults.
Yeah, exactly. But it's on the list of things. So we covered military experimentation.
I'm glad you brought it up, though, because a lot of people who wanted it investigated, that was one of the main things that they thought was happening. They did not think any natural causes, and perhaps a lot of them didn't think of the more supernatural explanations. They thought, God damn it, those Satan people are coming here and stealing my cow's penis, and then they left in the night. Yeah,
exactly. So we don't think it's this, but it's on the list. So next up, it's pretty much what I have last is aliens and UFOs, my friend.
Let's get into it.
How many goddamn pictures and T-shirts have we seen of a UFO picking up a cow? How many?
I don't know. I could have lost count.
I also lost count. I probably own one. So
I would be surprised if you didn't.
Is that what's on your T-shirt?
No, this is
Joe's
podcast T-shirt that my sister Katerina bought me.
Yep.
So I got to wear on the pod. I appreciate it.
She holds a very high status with the Dylan Joe Basin podcast as one of the top listeners.
Absolutely.
Feedbackers, commenters,
and one day when we get a Patreon for this podcast, you'll have platinum status for free. That's on us.
And when she's back in town, we would love her as a special guest.
Absolutely. I don't think she's going to love this episode because it's all about animals being murdered and she has a particular fondness for animals.
So she won't hear this, but
well,
we all do too. I mean, Joe, a little history of Joe.
Of course.
Joe is the author, illustrator, and designer and producer of
the Super Cow
Super
comics?
Cow, and his email address is still irishcow52 at Yahoo.
That's exactly right. We've been joking around, but Dylan and I both, as a quick aside,
and your
we
OnlyFans account,
my
Irish Cow.
OnlyFans. Yeah, we'll put that in the description of the video. I could use a couple extra bucks.
$10 a subscription per month.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I mean, we both love animals. We think animals are the shit. Cats, dogs, cows, they all deserve to be loved and cared for. And the idea of people hurting these animals is fucking atrocious.
I've driven mice in Home Depot buckets to fields because I found them in places that they shouldn't be. So
of course, yeah. So this is all terrible. And if there's any explanation for human beings getting involved in this, they're real pieces of shit. So
yeah. So now really genuinely to supernatural. So we're talking UFOs. So why?
One more thing. I'm so sorry before we get on. There's also the case of people doing this as a sadistic act, much in the way that people tear apart human beings.
You hit your neighbor and you want to just fuck up the cow.
Yeah. Much in the way that people
definitely happen.
Serial killers like to dismember bodies, take them apart with surgical precision, and they get a thrill out of it.
I think that there's neighbor's cow's asshole off. And
even if it's not most of the cases, I think there's a lot of people who probably get off with tearing apart the organs of animals and stabbing them.
People are really.
And even if they didn't have the idea before, when 100 cases come up in the news, you go, maybe I'll do that this weekend, and then they do.
1 in 100 people on Earth are sociopaths. That's the number.
So a lot of people are killing
Americans
just for the fun of it. Those
pretty
sickos.
fucked. It's disgusting.
Total sickos. So anyways, onto the extraterrestrials.
Yeah, so human and animal abductions in UFOs go together like hot dogs and
lips and assholes.
Exactly. So not really a whole lot to say besides that's a fucking thing. Cows getting abducted by UFOs.
Oh, that's a thing. I mean, what you're saying is that you think that there's spacecraft that are taking them up and doing the same thing these Black Hawks are doing, except they're doing it in a flying saucer.
The people who see trends of this happening tend to usually see lights in the sky. Mm. It's like they saw lights in the sky, and within 24 to 48 hours, the cows are fucked up. Like that's a thing. Mm-hmm. And why would UFOs or aliens want to take a cow? Well, very simply, good question. They're doing experimentations on DNA, on tissue from creatures on Earth, trying to study things. We're not really sure. Making animal-human hybrids in space, taking a human being, putting a cow asshole on them. I'm not sure.
Wild conjecture, sure.
Yep, cow penis on a human body. I don't know.
We can all dream.
Yeah, all sorts of things. So we don't really know, but a few months after some of the allegations, multiple farmers in Nebraska claimed in 1974, documented people in Nebraska witnessed UFO on the nights the cows were harmed. One claimed he saw an object which looked as if it had a little bluish green light on each side with glow surrounding it. That's what he said.
Classic UFO sighting.
Yeah, and this was these were all hailed by UFO researchers as first physical evidence of extraterrestrial life was farms, crop circles, cows, missing cows, lights in the sky, cows being raised up by some sort of a tractor beam.
Yeah, very few people around, unreliable witnesses, shit like that.
Nebraska, drugs, corn, methanol.
Also, UFO experts still unrecognized by a scientific community. They're much like paranormal experts. They're experts in the way it's like demonologists. It's like the people from The Conjuring. You can call yourself that, and you probably are the smartest person when it comes to UFOs. But there's no not like you need to go to college, but there's no college degree for being a UFO expert.
There are majors like that do that. They're ufologists or alien studies. Like you can study this in college. It's not a major, but you can. There's definitely a study in some colleges, universities, and community colleges. Or whatever.
I can see that. Much like
come across this as a phenomenon. It's widely known. This has been happening where you can go and study extraterrestrial things.
Yeah. I think much like our UAP podcast though, there are some people who are experts in identifying aircraft. And some people are so good at it, they work for the Air Force by being able to tell what an object is.
Like Project Blue Book?
By telling individual, sightings and what's going to be naming it off like that. But it's not like you can be one of the researchers at Skinwalker Ranch and say, I'm the world's leading expert at UFO research, because we've still yet to find any substantial evidence of an alien aircraft. So to say that you're an expert in alien aircraft is the same that I'm an expert in black magic, because
Bob Lazar, man.
Yeah.
I mean, there is
that's
one
exactly
guy,
what I'm saying.
It's Bob Lazar.
Yeah, he's still not an actual expert in UFOs because there's no evidence that UFOs
Well,
alien
any
aircraft.
pseudoscience or whatever you want to call it.
Pseudoscience.
Yeah,
it's not real science.
But it's because it's not
like crystals and magic,
adopted
like
by the official scientific community of
because there's no way to reproduce the evidence or actually prove it, so that you can't really call it science. You can call it whatever you want to call it, and you can believe in it as much as you want to believe, but real science has to be reproducible and provable experiments over and over again to prove that things have consequences and they can be reproduced and understood in a way beyond just anecdotal evidence, and people who study aliens can't do that yet. I'm not saying they never could, but as of right now, no one on the planet's ever done it. Like we talked about in the Houdini thing, there's still $1 million prize to anyone can prove they're psychic. They can't do it. And if they say, well, you can't prove it with science, it's not like that. That's fine, but everything else we do, like driving cars and building houses, works that way. So if you want to do it that way, that's fine, but we can't actually reproduce things, which means, for all intents and purposes of trying to deal with life, it's not really practical.
Yeah, but it's in the works, and people are working on this like no tomorrow.
Sure, and I hope that one day there will be legitimate studies on it, and we can reproduce experiments, and we can find actual alien aircrafts and do tests on them, and be able to figure more out about them. But until that happens, it's more of it's in my mind, it's exactly the same as demonology or a tarot card reading. It's just that you're the best in the world at this pseudoscience that is not provable and not reproducible, and it doesn't actually amount to anything besides a very interesting passion project and more of a personal religion that you get into, which I'm not saying that it's not true. I'm saying that if you can't prove it, what's the difference?
Yeah, exactly. Or, since, I firmly do believe that this exists.
I understand that. Yeah.
There's very few examples of, like, crashed saucers and this type of stuff. And when there are, there's actually more than a few, but they're the government's...
They're hidden away from the...
It's classified up to the highest chain possible. The president can't even see this. They don't even know. They take this for the safety of... specifically society and the integrity of the world, because if these things got out, it would change the world as we know it, and it would things would collapse, stock markets would go weird. They're just looking after all that stuff. It's almost pretty much down to the stock market as far as I'm concerned.
I definitely hear that part too, because this is such a larger category we're talking about now, but for example, if China developed something like the SR-71 Blackbird in the 1950s and it crash landed, and I said, well, you can't prove that SR-71 exists because there's no examples of it, then obviously we would not know about it because our government would hide it.
Exactly what I'm saying.
Yeah. So I am playing into your hand there by saying that I see that.
Yeah,
for sure.
That's kind of the only way that we can have a conclusion on that type of stuff.
That's the only way that it works.
There are little examples.
It doesn't work otherwise.
And if every government has one of these type of things, because it kind of or like most countries do, like Russia probably has crash UFOs. The United States supposedly does. Mexico has some. There's something that the rest of us don't know that this can... It could be an energy thing, like all of a sudden these crash and then we've solved the global energy problem, but there's no money in that. There's a lot to this that there's just... It's that the world's not ready for it, because there's just no way to have this integrated into modern society, because it could change. There's so many secrets.
Right. And there's so much truth to things like that, because real, actual historical events have happened that way and been proven time and time and again that large conglomerates and large government centers have made things hidden because of the fact of profit gain. And, they always hide it under the guise of, it'll be pandemonium, people will panic. People panic all the time. I think that could very much be part of it. I think it's more about a profitability and a control thing beyond that. But at the same time, if it was for any other reason, you still couldn't prove it either way. Yeah. You can still use that example whether it exists or not. If it's not real, you can say, well, they're hiding it. If it is real, you can say, well, they're hiding it.
Yeah.
So that doesn't help
tough.
us.
Yeah, we don't have the answers and we don't really know. But the countdown to disclosure, I think, is real.
Isn't that supposed to happen in June?
That's what theorists think.
That's
what theorists thought. Like, oh, this is going to happen now, but it's like.
It's like the end of the world. They've been saying this since Nostradamus.
No,
any day now. It's any fucking day now.
Well, it could be in
people
10,000
will stake
years,
their
really
entire
knows,
life's work on these things. They're not going to give it up. They're going to be in their graves saying tomorrow is about to come out. Yeah. And they might be right, but almost everyone who's ever talked about it's been wrong so far. So if I'm betting on a horse, it's not the one that lost the past 100 races. Well, they've been killed or they've been abducted.
Or raided by the FBI. and said, we're going to kill you and your entire family and everyone you've ever talked to.
Well, those are huge pussies. I mean, if Bob Lazar gets raided by the FBI, he better go out swinging because he's staked his whole life on this. And a lot of people...
He's been raided.
A lot of people who are singers from punk bands from the 90s and people who live and are my best friends in the world, they stake their claims on that. So I really hope he goes down swinging. He better get shot saying there's UFOs still and not shut
A lot
his
of
mouth
people
up.
have gotten killed for a lot less.
That's absolutely right. So I hope he goes out swinging.
I've seen so many movies of people who like got a gun in their face. They said, "Just do it, shoot me," because they know that there's a.
That's why I'm hoping he does it. I hope he doesn't wimp out like all the people that you're saying are silenced by them.
He's old news.
Is he?
Bob Lazar.
I thought he was one of the leading experts on it.
Well, he doesn't really. He
so
did his
quickly
thing
you
in the
cast
media.
aside your saints.
No. Like I respect that. I think it's great, but since June or when our last podcast was about this. It's died down a lot because the Navy shows that the government knows that there's something out there they can't explain whatever it is.
Yeah.
So there's a little bit of a break right now, but something's going to pop up again soon. You know, it usually goes. But right now, Bob Lazar, he never. Yeah, he's been in front of the media for 20 years now, but overall, it just sounds like he's not like actively pursuing this like Dr. Stephen Greer is, who's like trying to be out there and people and inform people and change people, whatever it was.
Right.
So. Yeah. So back to cattle.
We shall see. The other supernatural explanation that I wanted to bring into it.
Yeah.
Chupacabras.
Local folklore. The chupacabra. Joe.
To tie it into our podcast from last week, the vampires draining the blood of their victims and able to sustain themselves. We did.
Yeah. Did we?
Yes, we did briefly.
We didn't mention a few things, but
I said chupacabra because it's the goat sucker.
We literally didn't even mention Buffy the Vampire Slayer, so we're doing it now. But like, there's like other
we
things we didn't even mention some things.
Oh, there's tons of pop culture
so
shit.
many things,
I thought of like 100 things during the edit. But
chupacabras are, which means literally goat sucker
yeah.
in Spanish.
So you're looking at a mutilation of an animal, all the blood's drained out. We got a chupacabra on our hands here,
they got markings.
Well, yeah, but I mean, who knows if maybe they sucked it all through the penis and then they ripped it off and they were done. There goes your evidence right there.
That's a great point.
Off you go.
Yeah, I can't say that's not true.
You know what I mean? So they're sucking all the blood of these cattle. Yeah. They're going nuts, and they're obviously hard to detect because no one's ever actually found one. Actually, one of the best examples of a chupacabra.
Might have had a video of one time, and you look at that, you go.
Oh no, there's plenty of.
It kind of looks like a dog.
Yeah, because one of the most famous cases of chupacabra, they took one in and they captured it and they brought it in, and when they did tests on it, they found out it was a dog with mange, unfortunately.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
There's a lot of videos of chupacabras, and there's a lot of videos of all kinds of stuff, and then all it takes is a little bit of actually looking into it. When you have the physical evidence in front of you, you can actually test it. All of a sudden, all the mystery goes away. It's so boring, isn't it, when you can actually find out the truth about shit. That's why my side's always so boring. It's not as fun when you have answers. It's more fun when you can speculate and say, I don't know, look at the video. It looks kind of like it. Let's not test it, because if we can test it, you find out it's like the rest of the world. Amazing and wonderful and not magic, unfortunately.
No, but they're not saying chupacabras aren't real. I mean, it just goes right down to.
Well, they aren't though.
Livestock killings in the town of Mocha, and it's a lot of Puerto Rico, a lot of this, a lot of thing. It's
superstition.
It is.
Well, yeah, they're like other cryptids. They're like the Loch Ness monster, like Bigfoot. It's very fun to think of. People think they see them, and there's just I'm not saying they don't exist. I'm just saying there's no evidence whatsoever, and everyone who thinks they saw one has been wrong so far. So don't listen to the next person who tells you they saw one. Wait until we get more proof out of it. Don't stop looking. Keep looking. Keep investigating. Keep figuring this shit out. Yeah. But when someone tells you they saw a chupacabra, your first thought shouldn't be, holy shit, chupacabras are real. It should be, is it a dog with mange? And then what else is it?
Yeah. But my thing is, chupacabra, most of these things you can discredit, but the one thing that, I kind of have a final conclusion at this point is, if you're ready.
I want to do a quick pause and then go into final thoughts?
Yeah, you'll see. Quick pause.
Cool. Hide your kids, hide your wife, hide your cows. They're mutilating everybody out here. Alright, back to the podcast.
Alright, we're back for final thoughts. Cattle mutilations.
Final thoughts.
Final thoughts. Joe's gonna go
I love
first.
Final thoughts, dude.
Final thoughts is good.
It's my favorite. Just wrapping it all up. I'll go first on this one. So I made my thoughts known as I always do, pushing back at you the entire time, always kicking and screaming into the ideas of the mysteries and the unfortunate and unexplained paranormal things in the universe. I'm going to use my usual spiel real quick, is that most of these cattle mutilations can be explained. Of course, they're strange. Tons of cows die every day, and it's very explainable. These situations are less explainable because they're more rare and they're strange. More like the versions of when I talk about that cattle getting hit by lightning and being like, this is weird. It looks like someone literally taxidermied the thing in mid-field and the alligators are leaving it alone. If I was me and I saw that upon the field, I'd be like, what the fuck happened to this? I have no idea. I know a lot of things about how animals hunt each other. I know some things about decomposition. I'm not an expert at any of these things. I know like very trivial little pieces of knowledge.
Common sense knowledge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think, I fancy myself a little bit of a smart guy, and I think I can pretty much handle what's going on here. I would not have guessed that cow got hit by lightning. I know what lightning is. I know what cows are.
Don't you think there'd be an exit wound?
An exit wound of lightning?
Yeah, lightning usually goes in, and then when it leaves...
It would be burn marks.
So, for what I know about lightning is like...
But it's not an exit wound like a bullet.
No, it's worse. If you genuinely get struck by lightning, you can look somewhere on the body where the electricity needs to exit, and it'll be like it's blown out. Like it literally blows out of your body like a bullet.
Really?
Yes.
It's the first time hearing it. People get struck by lightning all the time. They don't have explosions
come out
in their
somewhere.
bodies. Yeah, but it exits through electricity, not through combustible kinetic energy. Electricity doesn't actually strike you like an object. It's an energy.
Yeah, no, I
going
understand.
through you.
Yeah, I understand that, but still, like, it definitely can.
So for an explosion to actually blow something out, it need to heat it up enough to expand to can actually an explosion is a rapid expansion of chemicals and air that would push kinetic energy through an object. I don't think that lightning actually blows up like it does in music videos, unless something happened where it heated up a portion of your body enough that it boiled and expanded too much, or maybe the blood or the water in your body to do that. But it doesn't just blow up like an actual bullet going through your system.
We'll get back to you guys in the next podcast. But
Yeah,
we'll
figure that out.
I know I'm on
That's
something.
interesting.
Joe's on something. We're not sure.
Yeah, I wanted to look into that because I did not know that.
We'll both look into this.
But anyway, so I'm just using that as an example of thinking that I could walk in the situation and be like, I pretty much know what's going on here. And I don't think that it's this, that, and the other thing. And people who are spend their lives working with cattle and they're living out on the ranch, they know what happens with their cows. Their cows out all the time. They know what it looks like. This is strange. I'm walking over, their organs are missing, there's no footprints, there's no fingerprints, the blood's gone, it smells like a fucking doctor's office. It's weird as hell. I don't know what's going on here. But again, you have to bring in a secondary opinion, people who have to test things and actually figure them out. They're experts on the subject. If everything was intuitive, like I said before, if everything we could intuit, it's common sense, just figure it out, intuit it, it's easy. We wouldn't know half the shit we know now. Things seem intuitive because we live our lives by intuition. We understand things and live that way. But how to understand the universe around us and how to understand even strange events, it doesn't work like common sense. You can't just use your eyes and your ears. You can't trust them. You have to go beyond that. And that's why a lot of the things we know about the world today have to be taken beyond intuition. Like I said it before, I'm repeating myself. If not, we would have figured out a lot more before the year 1600. You know what I mean? So I think a lot of these cattle mutilations obviously are insanely strange, but they're explainable. And it's understood by people who are experts. It's odd. It's strange. It bring up things like spontaneous combustion in my head where it's like, well, what the fuck else could it be? There's explanations for everything. It's odd. It's very rare. And it's completely fucking crazy that any of this shit ever happens. But most of it can be explained. It just takes a little more effort, a little more testing, a little more understanding. That being said, this shit's weird as hell, and it keeps happening. A lot of times it happens coupled with these strange lights in the sky, these strange events happening, and I don't know if there's some kind of government operation going on with it, but the fact that it's often coupled with these other events like sightings of UFOs has me perplexed. Again, I hesitate to make correlation and causation friends. I know that you love doing it and I fucking hate it, but once again, I'm left up in the air and I don't have the answers for this. I think this shit's fascinating and strange, and I think, like we said, a percentage of these cases are completely unexplainable. The fact that there's no evidence around them, these strange parts are missing, and again, the fact that the cattle are left there is the weirdest part. If there is some intelligence here that wants to take them up, I don't know why they're leaving them. And the only case I have that doesn't explain all of them because of the lack of evidence is that the same thing for crop circles. They find out someone did it. I'm a psycho. I want to do that shit. I'm going to go in there tonight, sneak into old McDonald's farm, cut this thing open, cut the pieces, and go home and leave it there. And then I can relish and jerk off to the news tomorrow when I have unexplained cattle mutilation. What happened to its eyes? And you're at home licking your scalpel thinking, who knows what went on there? It's me. I'm a fucking psycho. My biggest explanation beyond natural causes is that people are literally doing this and they're fucking crazy and weird. And the ones that are coupled with UFO sightings and no footprints, I have no fucking idea what that is. That's my final thoughts. I don't even know what's going on.
Yeah, those are solid final thoughts. If it's people, I mean, these days people talk, they communicate. We got Reddit now. There will be a whole I'm a cattle mutilator. I don't know.
A lot of serial killers talk, but a lot of serial killers never talk.
That's true.
The Golden State Killer didn't get caught until 23andMe, and he stopped killing 30 years ago.
True,
he didn't
but if there's hundreds of thousands of these across the world, someone's got to share some information. Unless it's a whole underground community of people of like the Hills of Eyes folks, that we don't really get to talk to. It's a whole other thing. So the
Hills of Eyes immediately. That was off camera.
Immediately, Hills of Eyes people.
Right away.
Yeah, unless it's like that type of thing. But again, what are they? You got to think of common sense stuff. Like there's a lot of value in a cow for the milk and the meat and whatever it is. To take just an asshole, it's a little weird. We don't understand this. So for me, I can pretty much rule out the government involvement kind of quickly, just because why would they bring the animal back? If they're taking it off-site to go do things, if they're doing it on-site, there's no way they can do it that quickly in a helicopter. It's just not happening.
You're making things disappear. Why are you bringing the evidence back?
Yeah, exactly. Unexplainable is one with generally I just have absolutely no idea. Next thing is with the precision, with the splitting, not even, if you take a scalpel and cut someone's skin, you're cutting cells. When they x-rayed these, it was like all the cells were intact along the lines of like all the other cells. It was really weird.
It's very strange.
So, aliens, man, I don't know. Like, I really got nothing else. Like, I don't know. And again, I can see why they might want to do experimentation on, again, I firmly believe that aliens are made of the same things that we are for the most part. They're just highly more...
Atoms
and cells, dude. Atoms and cells and the periodic table. That makes up an alien.
Atoms and cells. So it makes up everything we've ever understood about the nature of the world around us.
Not even the world, the whole universe.
Yeah.
It goes off the same principles. Some of them are really weird and fucked up, and we're learning more about it every day. But for the most part, the periodic table is the periodic table.
That's it.
The only new elements show up during billions of milliseconds during a nuclear explosion. Like, those are like new.
And we're forcing them to occur.
Yeah, exactly. So, like, for the most part, life is universal across the universe. So,
if it exists across
for them
the
to
universe.
study a cow is a little weird. Like, don't they know that's pretty... They get it, but like...
Real quick aside, to prove your point, I also wonder why don't they do this to other animals, like wild animals? Because there's a lot more animals than just farm animals that are easily viewed by humans.
Oh, yeah.
But then my second thought was, to your point...
Take a sloth.
To your point, would we even notice?
No.
So it's like, why don't they just take a wolf in the woods? Well, maybe they did. You're going to notice every animal that dies in the woods?
Nope.
You'd notice an animal on your farm if it dies because it's clearly a part of your property and it's part of your livelihood. But they could be killing sloths right now. We wouldn't know about it in the Amazon rainforest.
Rabbits, good luck. Deer, or whatever. Like, we don't...
There could be mutilated animals all over the planet we don't know about.
Yeah, absolutely. But why is this... But I know that we're seeing livestock because that's what we see the most. But, like, maybe it's because they're in pens and they're just kind of like... It's shooting fish in a barrel for them compared to chasing a deer in the woods. I don't really know.
Maybe.
Yeah, it's something. I'd say this is generally, we don't have the answers. Nobody has the answers. It's largely unexplainable. Some of them can be explained. I think most of them can't. And that's my final thoughts. This is a weird one. We want to bring attention to this because there's a lot of this going on, and it's very weird.
And it's not old news. It's happening this year, and it'll probably happen
a month ago.
Maybe in between me editing the podcast, and another one will happen. Who knows?
Yeah, it's very strange. But maybe there'll be some videos soon because everyone has phones and infrared.
That's the other thing. With all the ring cameras and nature cameras, it seems like every single year it seems more and more likely we'd have an actual visual representation of this. And we have even less evidence than we had at the beginning. It just doesn't make any sense to me.
No, it's a confusing thing. So, like, if you have a farm... I know these places in Utah and Colorado and New Mexico and Nebraska, whatever, are very, very large. Like a farm in Massachusetts, like they're freaking huge.
Yeah, they're
just set up hunting cameras are pretty cheap. You get it for like $50. They can record to the cloud. Like, can you set something up? Like, people, you know, if you know this is going on, I'd want to know. And it's also good to have a visual. You don't have to fly a helicopter to go look at your cows. You just pull up your phone now. You know, like someone's got to get something with this.
I hope so. I hope the more cameras we have out there and the more just data sponges we can just soak up more information, that we can find more evidence for why these things are happening and more evidence of just general misunderstood and unexplained things around the world. Just more. Can we find the chupacabra out there? Let's get some cameras out there.
Bigfoot, chupacabra.
If we're ever going to find them, it's going to be more and more likely every year because there's been more eyes on the world in the past 10 years than the past 1,000 years combined.
Yeah.
It's insane.
It's insane.
Just watch people stealing Amazon packages and Ring cameras.
Yeah. There's more.
That's
the boring stuff.
It's happened for hundreds of years, and now we just can see it.
Yep. Exactly. So we'll find out. And as most things, if we learn more about this as we go on through pods, we'll update you, just like we mentioned Buffy today.
Yeah. And the monoliths, we'll update those.
Yep.
And also the orange monoliths.
Where you'll definitely will be on top of that for you guys.
For sure.
Yep. So,
that being said,
thanks for listening to us today. It's the Dylan Joe Basement Podcast. We'll see you guys next week for another fun, exciting, informative or funny and stupid topic. We're not sure yet. We haven't picked, but Halloween's coming up, so hope you get your capes and teeth in.
Yeah, get ready for our spooktacular October. We're gonna do some spooky subjects for you guys. The vampires is just a little taste of the blood.
Just a taste.
Absolutely.
See you next week.
Oh, and don't forget, we have a big episode coming up. Another decade. Episode 40 is coming up again. You know what that means. More fun times for all of you.
More fun times. More in person. More special guests. More.
Oh, yeah.
All that shit.
Yep. But yeah, like you said, have fun, folks. We'll see you next week on the Dylan Joe Basement Podcast.
Asshole eaters and the asshole removers, because they are different, is that...
It all comes out the same hole. Isn't that disgusting?
It's a very talented male to figure out what's what when you're in there.
Oh no, just all up in the same area there. They don't switch sides in there.
Oh, I figure once they get in, they know up or down, left or right. Wherever they need to go.
They're on there for like 0.5 seconds. I figure they spray away and then the sperm finds their way. But yeah, no, that I do know for a fact that that's one of the weird things about chickens. They have a cloaca, so it's the same thing. For even the piss comes out their asshole. It's not called an asshole. It's called a cloaca. Everything comes out there. That's why you should wash your eggs before you eat them.
On a lobster boat tour?
No, I haven't.
They pull up one like, oh, it's a female because you see something.
There's something.
But it's not like oh, it's got a penis.
Dude, if a lobster had a penis, you pick it up. Oh yeah, there's the balls.
It's a boy. It's a male. Yeah, exactly.
It would decay, and the soft tissues on the outside of your body do decay faster.
It's not funny, but imagine the body bloats, and the first thing that goes, the cow's penis just goes.
It shoots off like a rocket.
Shoots off like a rocket.
Like a balloon. Yeah.
Yeah.